Audio. There. Okay. Well, that's kind of odd. Okay, so that was really weird. Strange things happen. I don't know why I had this set for default, but I had to manually go in and set it to microphone. That is really weird. So anyways, let me just kind of start over again. Smitty called me a loser, so he gets a mod for that. That's what happens. If you call me a loser, your punishment is you get a mod. Suffer from it. So anyways, on this particular argument, I think it's kind of funny because, as you guys may have heard, Dr. Jonathan Sarfati, who is a young earth creationist that I do not agree with on many things. I've known him about, 8 years or so. Well, maybe not that long, 6 years, I guess. But, he knows that I'm a pretty well-established anti-young earth creationist, or at least a young earth creationist critic, that he would probably say. But even he had to agree with this argument, and he put it on creation.com on one of his blogs. I was flattered by that, even though it's like, okay, creationists agree with my argument. But it does show that people are taking notice to this particular argument. And yes, like most arguments, it is derivative. I completely understand that. Very few arguments are de novo, right? But I have posted this argument in many different groups. And it's kind of funny because the feedback I've had on it is kind of hilarious, to be honest with you. I had a person even say, yeah, I'd love to refute your argument and come in and talk to you about it, blah, blah. I was like, oh, great. I'm going to be asking people to at least explain the argument before they try to criticize it. I think that's kind of fair, according to Report's rules. And he said, yeah, I'd love to, talk about it. Can you explain to me the argument first? It's like, what? If you're going to critique my argument, I'd kind of hope that you would read it and understand it first. I mean, I'm happy to explain arguments and have people critique it. That is fine, too. But if you're going to tell me that you want to critique my argument and you don't even read it and you don't understand it, I think that's kind of disingenuous, to be honest with you, right? It's one thing if somebody says, I've read your article, I have some issues with it. Here they are. Great. As opposed to, I just think you're wrong, but explain to me the argument first. That, to me, simply does not make sense. So anyways, I have, like I said, put this argument in many places. I have kind of put it on the screen here so you can see it. I know there's a way to stream directly from Discord. I'm not kind of familiar how to do it. Maybe Cheshire can show me when she gets a chance. I noticed there's a screen share, but when you screen share, I don't know how that streams, because it does come up at like 720p, 30 frames per second. So when you screen share and it says go live, are you streaming to somewhere? Because I never set it up to stream to any channel for my Discord. So I don't know how any of that works. So I'm using OBS right now. So I have no idea how to go about doing that. And like I said, maybe particularly Chesh can come in one of these days and show me how to stream directly from Discord. Because again, I like kind of like not having to go on camera. And even though I definitely hate Discord. Don't get me wrong. People know I am not a fan of Discord. I will admit, but don't hold me accountable for this, I will admit it has some advantages. One, I don't have to get dressed. Two, you have better control of the audio. Even though initially, for some reason, it wasn't detecting my mic. I had to manually go in and change it from default to my mic. But I think there's a way to do it. I think there's a way to actually stream directly from Discord where you can screen share. But I went into it and it says like video and share screen. And I'm just confused because I don't know if I go live, and I don't know where the hell I go live to. Right? I have no idea. So anyways, hopefully some people from Facebook will come on over if they think this argument has issues or flaws. I'd like to know what they are. Again, I'm not even claiming that my arguments are unassailable. I'm not ever claiming they don't have errors. What I have claimed so far is to date that nobody's brought to any of them to my attention. Again, people were like, oh, well, such and such refuted it. Okay, have them write it down and let's go over it. I've never had anybody do that. Everybody that says that such and such has refuted my arguments, they've never gave me a coherent explanation as to why. And so I will be asking people, okay, if you see such and such refuted my argument, what is my argument and what is their argument? And let's compare. That has never happened. I don't understand it. That has never occurred to me. Or it occurred to me, I guess. That has never happened. So, like I said, I was like, okay, let's kind of go into Discord, and maybe people that think they can understand this particular argument can come in. Who knows? I usually don't get a lot. This is, again, my GDC Discord. I haven't used it in a very long time, you guys may know. but maybe we'll get something in here. I did invite Cheshire and Joe and Dave, Trolley Dave. So we'll see. But if not, I'll take things from the live chat. So let me ask Smitty, because I just gave him a wrench. Hey, Smitty, have you read this argument, Smitty? In fact, who in the live chat has actually read this argument? I think Aneurysm Incoming has. How do you get into the stream chat and Discord? You just pop in. You go into the stream rating room, and I'll give you roles if you don't have them, and then you can join. So right now, I don't see anybody on the server but me. So I don't see anybody in the stream rating room. But the link to join is in the video description. Invite link to Discord. That should be active for a week. So come on in. Yeah, Smitty likes Chesh. We know this. Yes. We're well aware of that, Smitty. How you don't like me like you do, Chesh? What has she got that I don't have? Oh, wait. Never mind. Don't answer that question. But, okay, so you haven't read this argument. So, you know what? I don't know. Maybe that's maybe a good thing that you haven't read it, Smitty. Maybe I can kind of start fresh, because I'm going to have to explain it, I guess, because, you know, nobody seems to have any actual refutation for it. If they would have it, they could, you know, come in and talk about it, right? But, so the way this argument kind of works is this. There's something called the square of opposition, which is an Aristotelian form of logic that relates categories. So you have things like all S are P. Right? So all S's are P. All humans are animals, right? All S are P, or RP. So the square of opposition relates how categories exist. So if you have something like some SRP and no SRP, that's a contradiction, right? So you can't have a case where all humans are animals and then have no humans are animals. That is a logical contradiction. And then you have some of SRP, right? So it would be... you know, like some planets are in our solar system, right? But not all planets are in our solar system, right? So some S are of P. So that's what the square of opposition kind of does. It kind of relates these categories to each other. A guy named Dr. Burgess-Jackson wrote a paper called the Rethinking of the Presumption of Atheism. I believe it was in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, give or take. And it was a refutation of Dr. Flu's work where he wrote the Presumption of Atheism in 1972. And in there, he basically touched on using the square of opposition to explain atheism and theism and agnosticism in that approach. And then Dr. Lorenz Demey in a 2018 or 2019, I don't remember, paper, had kind of taken that square of opposition and made it into a hexagon of opposition, which I think is kind of the way to go. Either one works. The square of opposition would be a little more simplified version. I have not tried making this argument in the hex of opposition. I have not tried that yet. Could it work? Probably. Yeah, I think it is transportable like that, but I don't think it needs to be, because it certainly does work. It certainly does work as a argument just for the square of opposition. So Smitty, this is the way it would work. Let's say you have this square here. And if you look at the top, and forget about the nomenclature, forget about the actual names, right? Because again, this is a logical argument about semantics. Yeah, and so far the only responses you've got is some people just asserting you're demanding that you use words the way you want them, while at the same time at the same time they're somehow completely ignorant of the hypocrisy of this, as if they take atheist to mean lack of belief. Absolutely, yeah, and I have pointed out to people, and they're so dishonest about this. I'm like, American Atheist says atheism is only one thing. They're not saying that as we use it. They're not saying as we use it is only one thing. They're saying categorically, and that's a lie. That's an outright lie that they do. So, and they do it for political reasons. I mean, they're not above lying for political reasons, and I've well established that. But yes, they do that, and this is actually, again, it doesn't matter what words you use for here. The word is just an object. You can use dog or cat. It doesn't matter. Whatever words you use, it makes no particular difference. It is the fact that you're labeling something as both sub-alternations, and we'll get into that. Hi, Cheshire. Hello. How are you? What up? Really? Yeah, I know you were drinking last night. Wait, are you opening another beer? Is that the hair of the dog? Oh, okay, good choice. I love my ginger ale. I drink diet ginger ale, but I love my diet ginger ale, especially after I had a rum and coke night that I indulged too much. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Yeah, that's like a mimosa without the alcohol. Yeah, you like those things, don't you? Yeah, yeah. No, I do mix ginger ale with orange juice too. It's good. Yeah. Oh, you can't wait. They can't hear you for some reason. Let me see here. Proper. What is up these things? Desktop audio speakers. Try that. Say something.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean I can hear her just fine. So I mean I changed the default, but maybe that would work from the outside. She says she likes prairie oysters and that she's in love with Smitty, but she doesn't want to tell him that because she's afraid of fear of rejection.
How could you out me like that?
It's what I do. It's really, dude, I cannot be trusted. Simple as that. I cannot be trusted with these types of secrets. I have to share the love. I have to, ship people, and I have to like get people to foster and cultivate the emotions they have for each other. Yeah.
Stop it. Nobody asked you to.
Well, if you don't take Smitty, I will. I've been lonely. What do you want? Okay. I mean, it's been quarantine and stuff. Yeah.
You're gonna make you being lonely other people's problems. You sound like a Twitter troll.
Right? Yeah, I guess so. Right? I mean, apparently, I'm a Twitter troll because I show people that they make errors, and that I guess to be as a Twitter troll. I don't know how it works. Twitter's weird. It will always be weird. I can boost her up for you, buddy. How about this? I boosted your audio up.
I need a booster seat.
Yeah, she's short. She's short, so that should correct that. I do. I'm telling you, I do like Discord for the fact that you can control the audio. Everything else about it is kind of crappy, but the fact that you can control audio works awesome. So.
I would reject Chesh just as a Chad mind game to make her love me more.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm telling you, use negging with her. She likes being negged. Yes, it is a fact. I don't know why, but hey, Converse Contender, good seeing you, buddy. Hey, Converse Contender. Hey, I hope you read this particular argument. It's in the video description, and share it all among your theist friends. I'm quite fine with that. Like I said, Dr. Jonathan Safadi, who is clearly a theist because he writes for creation.com, he thinks it's a good argument. So take it and run with it, Converse. So let me explain to you the argument too as we go. So because I guess nobody's going to join me, Chesh, to assail it. I guess no, because how do you get in? You go join the video link description below, and then you go. Well, Cheshire, you explain it because you explain Discord better.
Oh, okay. You just hit the link and hit join. If you don't have a Discord account, you can make one in half a second. It doesn't really ask you for anything, and you can just open it in a browser. Or you can have it downloaded. It's better if you have it downloaded, like less lag and stuff. But if you don't have it downloaded, you don't need to.
Yeah. I'm using the actual application because the way I'm streaming it, because I get the little widgets and stuff. But I like Discord because I have to give them rights and I can mute anybody who comes in who's trolling, and kick them out. That's instant. He says, "What's negging?" Yeah. See, he's already playing you, Chesh.
Son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. I've been getting played this whole time. Oh, there was a I'll tell you about it later, never mind.
Oh, Ray is Ray. Okay, so Ray is the guy from one of the admin groups that says he wants to assail my arguments, but he didn't read it.
Oh.
I don't know how that works.
Well, has he read it now?
I don't think so. I'm happy to explain to him. I really don't mind. But it's just kind of funny. It's like, I would love to explain to you why your argument is wrong, Sonny, but I don't understand it because I haven't read it. That's how I'm going to sound in 20 years, by the way.
That's what you sound like now.
Shut up. I can serve a mute you, right? I do have the. Oh wait, you have the power too, actually. Keep forgetting. She knows Discord more than I do by far.
I can probably kick Steve out of this room.
Right? She got mad hacking skills, man. All right.
I can. Watch this.
No. God damn it. She did. She actually really did. She did move me.
So what are we here to talk about?
I don't know.
This is what I do. Steve's like, I want to have this same conversation that I've had like 3 times. People come watch me have the same conversation again. Chesh, come have this conversation. Oh, okay. I show up and derail the conversation in like 2 minutes.
Oh, man. Mod power is amazing, isn't it? Well, Smitty called me a loser and I gave him mods in the live chat. That's how that works. That was his punishment.
Ooh, that's rough. Okay, so there's a handful of people that said they wanted to talk to you about this, right? So that's why we're here.
Yeah. But here's the thing: I can't see them in the waiting room. Go to the stream waiting room. Anybody can go there. So go to the stream waiting room just after you joined, and we should be able to find you there.
Aneurysm.
Okay, I guess you know what? I can go to intros and maybe do it that way. So let me see. Member.
I think member is the one that lets them talk, right?
Member and VIP, I think. So I'm going to give a couple people that real quick to see if they can.
I gave everybody
so
the member.
Sam, L, and Zaffer. I just and Aneurysm giving you roles too. So Aneurysm, you get VIP member. Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so you guys should be able to get in now.
What's his higher here? The White Wolf or God King?
I see Sam in the stream waiting room.
Okay, so I'm moving them down.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah, I think. Let me practice at this. Let me practice.
All right.
So you know the server better than I do. Is the White Wolf the highest? Because it's me, but I also have something called God King. Is that next or which is higher, God King or White Wolf?
It depends on how you have it set up.
I don't know.
I see that you have God King, White Wolf, admin, and member.
So God King is higher?
I think you're the only one with God King and the only one with White Wolf, so I don't think it matters.
Well, how come it doesn't show up for White Wolf for me? Or God King for me? It just says White Wolf. Oh, no, I have God King. Never mind. You're right. Interesting. Okay, see, I don't know Discord. Okay, so hey, Sam. And by the way, I'm having to hide people from chat, and I'm sorry. This is the Great Debate community, and unfortunately, there are people that I have blocked for years. They tend to come around. I don't know why. I will never talk to them. They get blocked. It's simple as that.
Oh, right. Man, did you beat me to that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Sam, how are you?
Not too bad, but I'm definitely one of those people. I just happened to notice that you wanted criticism for this thing that's been criticized so much.
Oh, tell us.
I don't know who you are. Do I?
Oh, yeah, you just blocked me in the chat for setting a criticism out there.
And who was that?
Cerberus.
You're Cerberus. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gone.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't want a criticism.
Yeah. And there we go. I am sorry, but again, there are people that have been blocked for years that I will never ever speak to ever again. They're not welcome around, and so they can go away.
It's interesting how many people
I like Discord better now. That actually, you know what? I happen to like Discord at least a little bit. Okay, substantially more now, Chesh.
Yeah, it's great. I find it bizarre the number of people that like are complete shitheads to you and then feel like they're entitled to come in and have a conversation if you open something up.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand either. These people have attacked my character for years. They're not welcome
These
around.
are people that like went after your kid.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
Like literally. Like, it's the same group of people that accuse me of things with my own daughter kind of thing. These people are sick people. And I want nothing to do with them.
You have members.
Yeah. And
you can come in.
Yeah, so... Yeah, so anyways, don't deal with trolls. And unfortunately, like I said, I don't stream to this channel often, so it happens. But no, Nick, I do want criticism. I'm happy. And look, if one of those people has a valid argument and they write it down and you want to use that argument and bring it in, knock yourself out. But I don't let people that attack me, my family, and my friends around me. I don't think that should be any... I don't understand how people think that's unacceptable. When people have attacked me and my family and gone after my daughter... No.
Steve, the answer is that they don't think it's unacceptable. They just don't want you to do it because you're not allowed. They would do it themselves, and they have done it themselves in the past.
Can you move
Brandon?
Can you move Ray down here? I'm having. See, the thing on the Discord is I don't know how to like move it down all the way because I try to like scroll and it doesn't let me do it.
I got it.
Let me try this way. I have to move it in 2 steps. There we go, Ray.
Anything.
Yeah, Smitty says Steve didn't want a criticism and we went to a mod. That's what I keep Smitty around for. He talks mad crap. Yeah. So, and yeah, you know what's funny, Cheshire? They come around on sock accounts too. Like all these sock accounts, it's like, you know, they don't get the hint. I don't want them around. I want nothing to do with them, but they feel like they're entitled. It's like a bunch of Karens, you know. Oh, I'm entitled to be in Steve's streams. No, you're not. No, not after the crap that you guys pull. Not after the support you guys gave Kyle. Not after the shit that happened with my friends. And no, you're not. That's why I don't accept any of their apologies, and I never will. It's just not going to happen. They know that they supported a person who committed fraud. They know they supported shitty people that have gone and done unethical things. I'm not interested in that. That's not the kind of people I want to be around. All right, Ray. Oh, who's got the scratchy mic?
That's Ray.
Ray, yeah. A little hard on my ears, buddy. He's trying to talk, isn't he? I don't hear any voice.
Hello?
There we go.
Hello?
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
It works, sort of.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, it sounds like you're on a tablet, like an Android. Are you on an Android? You're on Androids are...
Yep. No. What color?
I'm going to go with blue.
Oh my God! Shut up.
I've had Androids. They do that noise. I'm telling you, it's in their mic.
Well,
but it's okay. It's not terrible. Sort of.
No, it's wonderful. I'm old, and this is wonderful.
That's cool.
So I win the argument, right?
Yes, you won. Congratulations! Woo!
I knew it would be easy.
I know.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Just having somebody last longer than 30 seconds without being a shithead is a win in my book.
I have to not be a shithead.
I know. It's like we have really high standards here. Don't be a shithead. All right.
You didn't say that before.
Hey, do you have headphones, Ray?
Yes.
It helps if you use them for an Android.
The headphones I have. Well, I'll just plug them in and see, right?
Would you do that? Smitty says I like you, Steve, but I don't understand how these people are so obsessed. LOL, you're just a guy. You hurt me with that, man. You hurt me. I'm just a guy? What?
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Wow.
Awesome.
I got the best headphones. I know this isn't about headphones, but I got the best headphones.
Yeah, no, it eliminated that scratchy noise, right?
Yeah.
These headphones are soft. They're made out of foamy stuff, and I can sleep with them all night long. No pain. And
awesome.
For $15, they're not for listening to music, but for $15, I got 2 pairs of these.
Nice.
Anyway,
I buy the dollar ones because I just break them easily.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into the argument here. Okay, you want to dive into it now? And I'm going to ask you straight out. And you know, well, first of all, I know you're an admin for one of the groups I'm in. I'm in like 60 groups, by the way. But you're one of the admins there, and I have posted my argument there, which you haven't read yet, correct?
Well, I tried to.
Oh, you at least tried to. Yeah. Oh, B Toast.
Yeah, I looked at.
Hang on, we had friendly fire from Smitty. Sorry, BT Toast. Smitty's drunk right now. Forgive him. Forgive him.
So you tried to read it, and so there were some parts that you struggled with. I'll give you.
I did. Just a small part. Pardon me. Sorry. I interrupted you.
I was just saying, you've already put in more work than other people have for the most part.
Right? He's already. He's already halfway.
Don't get too excited, guys. The part that I didn't read was all of it.
Oh, okay. You got the title. Well, you saw the title, right?
Yes.
Good.
Lovely.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. Yeah, I got the title. He's already halfway there, right?
Right. So look, I think this is just semantics. So it doesn't matter what we label our beliefs or our ideas. It's the ideas that matter. So I don't give a fuck what you call it. agnostic, hard agnostic, soft agnostics, homosexual agnostic. I don't care.
Yeah, okay, so let's dive into the
Just
argument.
have a
Let's dive into the argument real quick, though. So, hey, by the way, segmentation fault. How are you, my friend? I don't divulge private stuff, but I want to thank Segmentation Fault for something he wrote me the other day. I was very flattered by that. And no, he didn't ask me out. Okay, it wasn't like that, you dirty people. But thank you, Segmentation Fault. I'm very humbled and honored for what you told me. I do read most of my mail. All right, so here's the actual argument, right? So the way this argument kind of works is this, and I was explaining the square of opposition before you came in, and how it relates to categories, right? And so when it relates to these types of categories, there's what's called a sub-alteration. Okay, and a sub-alteration is basically something is by implication implies something else. Okay?
Okay.
It's not by truth values. And a contradiction is based upon truth values, right? So a contradiction would be something like a proposition is true and false at the same time.
Okay.
That is a contradiction. Converse Contender, I gave you rules too if you want to join us, so you can come into the chat. Converse Contender, if you're listening still. All right, so with a sub-alteration it's not contingent upon truth values, it's based upon implicature. So would you agree that if I believe, and we don't even have to worry about the words, we'll just say any proposition. If I believe a proposition to be true, that means if I believe it to be true, I do not believe it to be false. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
All right. So the sub-alteration of something like I believe proposition is true is that I do not believe that the proposition is false. That's a sub-alteration.
Yes. And it's a tautology. It's a tautology to me. It just means the same thing.
Well, a tautology is something that's always true, right? So A or not A, always being true is a tautology.
No. A tautology, the way I understand it, is that A equals A.
Yeah, that's a tautology as well. Yeah, a tautology of A or not A.
One side equals.
Right.
One side is identical to the other side, a mathematical
not necessarily. It means it's always true, right? So
always true.
If I say A or not A is always true, that's the law of negation. That always has to hold true. A or not A.
The law of negation is always true. Well, okay.
Yeah, that's what.
But I don't call that. I don't call the law of negation a tautology. I have to look it up in a dictionary for you.
Well, I would use a logic dictionary. But what a tautology technically means, there's a couple different forms of tautologies, but what generally one of the type of tautology is that if you look at the truth values, in the truth tables, all the values on the right-hand side are all T's. If they're all T's, that is a tautology. Like if you do the truth tables for true and false, you get true or not true, false or not true. Right. So if it's false, it cannot be true. If it's true, it cannot be false. That's a tautology.
Hey, Steve, could you turn Ray down?
Yeah, he is a little loud. Yeah, I'm gonna manually turn it down, but yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's on Steve's end. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I got you, buddy. I got you. All right, speak now, real quick, Ray.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I'm just
7.
Yep, perfect.
No, we had to little down.
All right,
9.
I got you.
10.
Yeah, no, I put a limiter on, so it's clear. I put a compressor on, so
that was fun.
So
okay, I don't understand the meaning of tautology very well. So okay, I think I'll accept your definition that it would stand for being true at all times.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, so let's go with that. Let me just check my filters real quick. All right. Perfect. All right, so that's what a tautology is. So when you say that, something you believe that's going to be true, it is you do not believe it's false. Okay. So if you put a word in for that, let's say I believe a proposition is true, and let's say, well, give me a proposition. A proposition that's something that can be true or false, right? So
the sky is blue.
The sky is blue. All right, we're gonna call that skyism. How about that?
Yeah.
So if you're a skyist, you believe that the sky is blue, right? So a skyist will say, when we use the nomenclature BSG, that stands for believes. S is subject, G is proposition. So the subject believes the proposition. So a skyist is somebody who believes the proposition is true. Good so far?
Yeah.
And that means that they do not believe the proposition is false.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll call it an atheist in this case would be somebody who does not believe, or somebody who believes the proposition is false, right? So somebody who says the sky is not blue, we're going to call this, for the sake of the argument here, an atheist. Somebody who believes that it's false, okay?
Yep.
And I mean, people go into, well, that's not what atheism means. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that we're making it the negation. And I think you actually agree with me, don't you, that atheism is normatively defined as the belief that God does not exist, right? I think you do agree with me on that, right? Remember?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a belief, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so atheism is the position that you believe the proposition is false. So the subalteration of that is that you do not believe that is true.
Okay.
And if you look at the diagram, you can actually see it on the outside, right? So what you do is you just follow a straight line down. So if skyism is BS, not G, you just follow the line straight down to the subalteration, you get not BG. That's how it works in the square of opposition, right?
Okay.
So if I label sky is skyist and askyist on the top of the square of opposition, and I label it on the bottom as well, the same exact thing, right? Now I have a case where you are labeling, and by the way, this makes sense logically, okay? So I'm not trying to say that this is you're creating any kind of logical contradiction here. You're not. But here you have a case of now you've split it between what is normally understood as weak and strong atheism by some people. I don't particularly like those terms, but we're going to go with them. Those are terms that Smith and Martin used, and Boulevard uses them. But now you have a case on the top that's strong, and on the bottom of that square, those are weak positions. So you have the strong skyist who believes there are no gods, I'm sorry, strong skyist who believes the sky is blue, and in the bottom you have some weak skyist who just doesn't hold the belief that the sky is blue, right?
I don't see the difference.
You don't see the difference between a belief and not believing?
Yeah, it's a double negative. I don't see the difference.
Well, it's not double negative. One's negations on the.
Okay. There's a proposition that sky is blue. There's a proposition that sky is not blue, right? Those are opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Now to say that I have a belief that the sky is not blue is using a double negative. It just means that I believe it's blue.
No, because the double negative is, first of all, is not P, right? And that's only in classical logic.
Not P.
Yeah.
Yeah, not P.
But that's not what it is. It's not B, not P. You have one negation of the predicate and one negation of the proposition.
I don't believe that the sky is not blue. That's not P.
No, it's not. It's not B, not P. For example, let's go back to the Gumballs things, right? And I have a jar of Gumballs, and they're either odd or even, correct?
Yeah, the gumball. Yeah.
Okay, so if I say, do you believe they're even? You say, no, I don't believe that they're not even. I don't believe that they're not odd. I have no position either way.
I don't believe that they're not even. It's the same as saying, I believe that they're odd. I don't
believe that they're odd is the same as saying I don't believe they're even or not even. Same thing. I don't believe.
Yeah, it's the I don't believe that they're odd, not I believe they are odd.
Yes.
So saying that. So if you say, hey, I don't believe these are even, it doesn't mean necessarily that you believe that they're odd.
Yeah. Think about this. Think about this, because
Can I? Okay. I don't know your name. I'm sorry.
Cheshire.
I'm Chesh.
Cheshire.
Yeah, just Chesh is fine. Yeah.
Chesh. Okay. Hi, Chesh. That was good. Yeah.
Hello.
I might not believe that we're going to Gumballs, that the number is even, but that doesn't mean, well, it's a binary position, so of course it means I believe it's odd.
No, belief's not binary.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops, I saw my error. So I might just say I don't know-ism.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right, because
sometimes all you need is to actually just, it's not always so much reading. Sometimes it's just you have to talk yourself through the argumentation to be able to kind of wrap your brain around things sometimes. I do that all the time.
Yeah, it just makes sense because not even and odd are the same thing, right? Not even has to be odd. That is a binary, right? So if I say I don't believe they're not even, I'm saying I don't believe they're odd. If that was a double negation, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
So just because so just because it might be a dichotomy and like a proper dichotomy doesn't mean that there's necessarily only two positions about that dichotomy.
Yes.
I got tripped up with the word believe because yeah, there's a real dichotomy there. But
Yeah.
when you put the word belief in front of it, then it changes the sentence. It's from a fact claim or a truth claim to a belief statement.
Well, a belief is a
If I
position
say,
about
I
a
believe
fact.
that pardon me?
A belief is a position about a fact, right? If you believe something to be true, you're supporting that as a fact.
Opinion.
Yeah.
It's an opinion.
Well,
about
no,
a fact.
it's an opinion, sure, but some opinions can be obviously true, right? My opinion, A equals A, is true, right?
Yeah. And a belief is an opinion, right or wrong, about a fact.
Yeah, I'll go with that. But opinions can be objectively true, right?
Opinions can be objectively true.
I believe A equals A is objectively true. Well, one, it's objectively true that I believe it, and true is objective fact that A equals A.
Don't confuse. I'm
Okay,
very
all
old.
right,
Oh my
all right.
God.
Gotcha.
You can kill me. You could just the wrong word and I'm gone.
No, we don't want to do that. So you're there. You're getting there. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Help save my life. So now I forgot what I was going to say because I'm old. So, but we have opinions, and we could be correct about those opinions or wrong. Now, there's a fact in reality out there that we can have an objective opinion about, but like that's a different question than.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're on board. Converse, you want to test your mic real quick, buddy? How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, pretty good. How's my
You
audio?
sound amazing. I'm telling you, you got the voice for radio. You just should do it. You should.
No way.
All right, so let's continue with the square of opposition here. All right, so now I have a sky. So do you get now that you have a strong case and a weak case? Strong is logically a subset of the weak here, unfortunately. It's just the way the logic works out. So all strong skyist would be also weak skyist, but that's only logically.
I don't know what a weak skyist is, like a weak position is.
Oh, okay. It's the sub-alteration on the bottom. Yes, it's I don't believe the position. I don't believe the proposition is true. Or I don't believe the proposition is false.
As opposed to I don't know if it's true?
No, as opposed to I believe the proposition is true or I believe the proposition is false. It's the not BSG it's the not BSG and the not BS not G position. It's the bottom of the square of opposition.
I think using skyist is getting confusing, and you should go back to Gumballs.
Okay, Gumballs, yeah. So.
Well, then we would have to name the even odd position.
I'm not understanding the weak position. So I can have a strong belief in odd number of Gumballs, and I can have I don't really know if it's odd or even. Don't ask me.
Well, let's go. Let's just see. How about this? Let's just use atheism and theism, because you already accept atheism as the belief, so it's not critical. The way that Smith and Fluid argue this was that that atheism would be anybody who just doesn't hold the belief, right? So if you do not affirm the proposition is true, you're a negative atheist, soft atheist, weak atheist. You're what's called implicit atheist. This is the terms that they used. So you're just somebody who doesn't believe that it's true. You don't accept it. That's the weak case.
Yeah. Weak case that I just don't believe it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now I get it.
Okay. Now again, all strong cases are a subset of the weak, and all strong cases have a belief and a not belief position. The theist believes God exists, but does not believe God does not exist. And in the other side, atheists believe God exists, but does not believe God does exist. So all of them have a belief and a non-belief component to them, right? So the strong is the belief, the weak would be the non-belief, or the non-acceptance of the alteration.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I got it. Okay.
Awesome. So if you look in the diagram, if you look in your video there,
You're building a stairway to heaven.
this is so awesome. This is like somebody who actually is like wanting to learn is one of my favorite things in the world.
I'm gonna convert to this. I don't know. I'm scared.
Oh, many have. Yes, I have more of a following than people realize, but yeah.
You don't have to be afraid. It's just it's okay.
Don't be afraid. Just let it wash over you. Let it happen. Just take it.
Okay, are you showing me a diagram somewhere on the internet?
Only on the outside if you're watching the video.
Watching the video? You mean YouTube?
Yeah, or if you just look. I put it in the group so you can see the image in the group. Same image.
Good Lord. Okay.
See the image, the square?
Well, Android tablet. Give me a minute.
No worries.
I don't know. What if I press this button?
No, never
Sorry.
press the button.
Don't press the button.
We're all gonna die.
Hey, Steve, why don't you share it in like stream chat or something
Because
like
I
that?
don't know how to do this.
Oh, okay.
I can do it. I'll
Sure.
take care of it.
I'm Discord dysfunctional, man.
I'm contemplating suicide. I just want to tell you.
Right.
I can't see the images.
Just go to Just go to the.
I'll
Just go to the
pull it up
group.
for you.
Just go to the group you're in. I posted it there.
Group? Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. Oh, my God. But anyway, I won, right?
Yeah, you already won. Yeah, you already won. Yeah.
And now we're just debriefing.
We're all deleting our channels and hiding and becoming part of WITSAC. You know.
Is there anybody else you could talk to and I can listen a while? I try to figure this out, or do you want to continue?
I want to continue. Yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say it might be an easier way to explain it to him if we just give the opposite view where the theist takes the weak theism position. It might be easier for him to see why it's.
Yeah. All right. So. Well, I mean, but it doesn't show the semantic collapse that I'm trying to get to, and then we'll get to that, I guess. So let me show the semantic collapse. So now that I have the top of the square labeled theism and atheism, the bottom of the square labeled atheism and theism, because what the atheist is trying to do is make weak atheism and just make it atheist. They're making it, they get anywhere near the stop. They're just calling that position, that not BSG. They're calling that the atheist position. I don't think they're going to argue that the top is not atheism, although I have had people try, which is really weird because I asked them, what do you call position? I'm kidding. Somebody the other day I asked, what do you call the position if somebody believes there are no gods? And they had told me they called them, quote, a presumptuous idiots. Presumptuous idiots. So an atheist is calling other atheists presumptuous idiots for believing there are no gods. I'm like, really? That's what you want to go with here?
Yeah,
Ray,
in the group, in the, pardon me, go ahead.
I sent you the picture. I tagged you in general chat.
Oh.
I can also just send you one. Here you go. So now you will have just a message from me that has that picture, so you know what we're talking about. Just easy to find.
Oh, Cheshire Vic, hi Kino. Oh boy.
Oh, not there.
No, not there. Oh my God. Yeah, how about I just visualize in my head? So, yes, in my group, I tried to defend the proposition that no gods exist, that I could prove it. And I had a cutesy little argument that was kind of shallow, and everybody jumped on me. The atheists helped me out. And I realized I couldn't say that. I did not have an epistemic, justification. So no, I can't know everything. And so I don't know if actually no gods exist, because I didn't look everywhere.
Well, yeah, and you don't. Well, here's the thing: you don't have to. Okay, when we're talking about beliefs, knowledge is a subset of belief. Knowledge requires a couple of different other things. And so, when you make a claim, God exists, that's not a knowledge claim. And contrary to what anybody tells you, they're just fundamentally wrong on this. I mean, there's precedent beyond precedent for this. If you read Russell's on propositions, you can read beliefs in the SEP. The Dr. Eric, I can't pronounce his last name, but go look on belief on the SEPs. Dr. Eric starts with an S, and I know who he is, but I can't pronounce his last name. But anyways, it's very fundamental that if you make a statement like the sky is blue, you're expressing a dosastic position, a belief position. You're not expressing a knowledge position. It's not predicated as knowledge. That's long established. And so you're not making a knowledge claim, so you don't have to justify it as knowledge.
Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe I didn't say it that way, but I was thinking in my head what I wanted to write, and I didn't write it, but I wanted to write, I know that no gods exist. That's not a belief statement.
Well, it's a belief, but it's a subset of belief. It's a knowledge claim. If you're a theist though, so you're not a theist. Oh, you're not a theist.
I'm an atheist.
Oh, you're an atheist. Okay, I thought you were a theist for some reason. Okay, makes sense. All right, so claiming there are no gods requires a much higher degree of justification. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if people can meet that level. I particularly don't think. I think it's hard.
Well, it was based on an intuition.
Yeah.
Because it kept nagging me and nagging me and nagging, right? So that's the intuition, the nagging in my head. Ray, hello, you're not convinced.
Yeah,
So
just go with belief, though. It's so
yeah.
much simpler to defend.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
go.
knowledge, the way I was defining knowledge was, I'm limited in my knowledge, so I'm not claiming knowledge beyond my limitations. But as far as I know, there are no gods.
Yeah, but you're having an
You
equivocation
might
problem.
want to use the word confident.
Yeah,
then.
or information, because you're having an equivocation of the word
Because-
knowledge.
Knowledge implies absolute
No.
information.
No, no.
No, there's people will run the argument of like, well, you don't know everything, so how do you know there's no gods?
Right.
And they're jumping they're basically putting the cart before the horse.
It's a very
You don't
fallacious
have
argument.
to-
Yeah.
I don't have to have tried every fruit on the planet to know that orange is my favorite fruit.
There was my point. Yeah, that was my argument.
Yeah, that's true by the fact in virtue that she believes that. So it's true. That's called incorrigible belief. It's true by virtue she
Right.
believes it. I know things,
So you can
right?
say that you know there's no God, and that implies within the framework that you have personally. So anybody who says, well, you can't know everything, you say, well, of course not. I'm not claiming to. I'm saying, as
Right.
far as I know, my knowledge, I know that gods do not exist within that predicate. And so when
Yes.
you jump the gun to, well, how do you know everything? You're talking about something different now. You're talking
These
about
were
like,
atheists who were telling me that.
Yeah, well, atheists.
Yeah,
Okay, I've
no.
explained this before. Atheists can be, just because you have a particular position on God doesn't make you all of a sudden a genius, or rational, or logical.
You're breaking my heart because I switched from theism just to be a genius.
Cheshire had the same thing. Yeah, that's yeah. But no, just real quick, you got to make sure that the term knowledge, you're not using it as information, right? So knowledge means a very specific thing, that you have belief, the proposition is true, and you're justified to, right? I know A equals A. I believe it. It is true, and I'm justified because it is a logical axiom. And so I could claim knowledge for that. Now, skeptics, they'll go into, you can't have knowledge, and that's other arguments for skepticism. But as a person who doesn't adhere to skepticism, I'm safe to say I know A equals A, and I can justify it. If you want to argue with that, like I just had an atheist argue with me on that A equals A was something that was not quite the case, and it didn't correspond to reality. They were wrong. But
So
yeah,
Steve, sorry, one second on that.
please.
On the knowledge definition,
boy.
I guess you're taking the justified true belief. What do you
Yes.
think about people who say that justification isn't required because of like Gettier cases?
Okay, so I take justified true belief plus, which as in what's called a truth tracking condition, which is called safety or sensitivity. Or safety and sensitivity. So you can basically use possible world theory to add a truth track condition as what the subject would believe with the next possible world over, had they information that the case is to be true. But however, the Gettier case is always going to exist for any belief first theory, and Dr. Linda Zabesky pointed that out. She made it very clear that any belief first theory is going to have what's called epistemic luck, which means it's going to result in the Gettier cases. But you know what?
Yeah.
No theory is perfect. All of them have issues. What are you going to do? You have to accept that. But I think JTP plus is probably the way to go, because if the next possible world over they still believe it, then it's tracked, and so there's a truth tracking condition on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like in moral. In normative ethics, where every system really kind of has a part where you have to bite the bullet, and you're just saying I'd rather bite the bullet with justification being part of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, I'm a classical foundationalist. I bite the bullet that is arbitrary.
Yeah, because it could be the case that you, for example, lived on an island where you had family, but then you moved to an island, you've never seen anybody die, and so you're like, I've never seen anybody die, so I don't think that that's a thing. Like if you read it somewhere or something. Yeah. Then you could say, well, I'm justified in that, so I know that I'm not going to die because nobody's ever died before around me. No humans.
Yeah.
And then it turns out though that you didn't actually know that, but you were justified in the fact. So what you're saying is that that's better than just running around saying, Well, I believe it, and it's true, so I can just claim it as knowledge.
Yeah, that doesn't work. All right. If people claim knowledge, you need to tell me what theory of knowledge you use and why.
Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, you guys can move on. I just wanted to clarify that just to make sure.
But I mean, look at like coherentism, right? Coherentism, it suffers from circularity. You have to bite the bullet somewhere down the line, right? It's just how philosophy works. But anyways, so let me get back to let me just wrap this up about the semantic collapse real quick, because what happens is at the bottom, if you look, the agnostic position is somebody who does not believe either positions, right? It's somebody who says, I don't believe either way. This is well established. I know you have people out there going, well, Gnosticism deals with knowledge. No, we're talking about the ontological domain. If they don't understand the difference between the epistemological domain and the ontological domain, then it doesn't. Well, you're not going to be able to have a conversation with them. Agnosticism is a psychological state of being agnostic on a proposition in the ontological domain, meaning that you have no position either way about the proposition. That is what it's understood ubiquitously throughout the literature. Get used to it. I'm sorry, but that's just, you can go look this up. It's ridiculous that people argue about that. If you want to talk about Huxley's agnosticism, sure, go back 100 years, and you want to talk about a normative epistemic principle, that's fine too. Dr. Draper does. If you want to talk about epistemological proposition about the knowability of gods, okay, that's fine too. Those are different domains of discourse. But anyways, so at the very bottom of this, you have the agnostic who doesn't believe either way. So now you have somebody who doesn't believe it's true, doesn't believe it's false, and doesn't believe it either way. In other words, you have somebody who is both, or all three, an agnostic, a theist, and a atheist, all because of semantically trying to claim those weak sub-alterations as the position rather than differentiate, right? Because if you're a strong atheist, right, that means you hold a particular position, right? If you're a strong theist, you hold a particular position. But if you're just a weak case, you don't have a direct position. You either are somebody who believes that. Well, I guess let me phrase that. If you are the weak case, it is either because you believe the negation or the proposition is true, or you have no belief either way. And you can see this with the square of opposition, right? So the weak atheist, the person who holds to not be SG, they hold to that either because they are a strong atheist and they believe the proposition is false. That's one way, because the subalteration implies that. Or they're agnostic and they have no position either way, which is what's called the subcontrary position. Right? So you're a weak atheist only if you have one of those two positions. You're a strong atheist or you have no position either way. So by labeling that atheist rather than just weak atheist, you are now semantically entailed to be an atheist, agnostic, and theist, because again, the theist can relabel the weak position as that position. So that's the semantic collapse argument in a nutshell. Converse, you can, wait, where did Converse go?
Converse had to go cut some grass.
Oh, okay. But that's like I said, I think it's pretty inescapable, but I'm willing to take criticism from it. But again, you could put any words for this in and it holds the same, right? I could put skyist,
Okay.
a skyist.
You rush through the explanation of semantic collapse a little bit. You were talking very quickly. So I have the weak. So I think you're saying that the weak atheist position is actually not a position. It's agnosticism. It's out. I don't know.
Yes. It's not a position, and you're exactly right. I've actually said this. The weak atheist is not a direct position, because it is one of two possible positions. It doesn't tell you which one positions you are. If you are a weak atheist who does not believe, logically, it is because you either A, believe that it's false, and you're a strong atheist, or B, you have no position either way. And this is a rational attainment, right? Because we're not talking about people that believe the proposition is true and false at the same time.
So it looks to me that you're making a case for to use only three words: theism, atheism, or agnosticism. Correct?
Correct. Matter of fact, Oppy points this very thing out, that if you decide to differentiate between strong and weak case, you have somebody that results being an agnostic, atheist, and theist. He actually pointed this out. I just explained it using the square of opposition. So he was the original person where I got this from, but he doesn't explain it. He goes into no detail as to why. I actually explain it as to why, using the sub-alterations of why it's the case.
I think it's that Richard Dawkins there with his 7 or whatever. His scale.
The Dawkins scale.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is
it's not like chocolate.
Here's the funniest thing, Ray.
Milk chocolate.
But here's the funniest thing, Ray. Richard Dawkins doesn't like with the weak and the implicit thing. He doesn't like using those, and I don't know why. He doesn't actually say that I'm aware of, but he doesn't use implicit atheism. He doesn't use weak atheism as a term, and I don't either, by the way.
But he's got his name on the scale.
Yeah, I did a blog on his scale. It's really pathetic, I think. I don't like it, at least. I should say it's pathetic.
Did he put his name on that scale, or did somebody else put his name on the scale? I don't know. He said it.
Yeah, maybe somebody else did. But I mean, if he didn't object, I don't know.
No, I think he did. I mean, I don't really know. I have some issues with this scale, but his segmentation fault points out I use weak atheism as a synonym of agnostic. Yeah, well, weak theism is also a synonym of agnostic at this point, or it could be. Yeah. It could be, because again. Now, let's look at this very carefully, and I want to make this very clear. If you're a weak atheist, I generally mean somebody who holds that all they want to do is say, I don't believe, right? Right? Because a weak atheist must be either strong or agnostic. There are no other options, but you cannot just say it's synonymous of agnostic, because a weak atheist could also be a strong atheist logically, but epistemically what they're saying, when I hear somebody say, I don't believe, that's the only thing I'm saying, I'm going to call that weak atheism, because they're not telling you what their position actually is. They're playing hide the ball. Because I can say, look, I don't believe. It's because I believe that it's false, right? Cheshire believes there's no gods. So she does not believe that there are gods. She's a weak atheist, but a strong atheist, because strong is a subset of weak. So she holds that position. There are no gods. So I don't think it really makes sense to call her a weak atheist, because weak atheist to me is somebody who just says, look, I'm just going to say that I don't believe, but I'm not going to tell you what my position actually is.
So you're trying to make a distinction between, strong atheism is saying, I believe there is no God. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
I got that.
Yes.
I believe there is no God.
Yeah, and which is technically just called atheism in philosophy, but yes.
And weak atheism is, I don't happen to believe that there is a God.
Yeah, I don't believe the proposition is true.
Yeah, that to me, it's just grammar.
And however, every single position, all three of them, all hold to, or all are, they all have to have a, they all hold, they all have burden of proof. There's the word I was looking for. Blah, 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 my brain is mush.
Burden of proof that I believe. I can poll my brain. Hey, Ray, do you believe this? There's my proof. No, he says no.
So
there is no proof for a belief. I don't know.
Well, you got to remember, burden of proof doesn't mean to prove, right? Just like the Big Bang doesn't mean bang.
Right. So think of it like it's a burden of justification. Why? So if you don't believe something, you have a reason not to believe something. Or if you do believe something, you're expected to have a reason as to why you might believe something. Right?
It would be reasonable to have a reason. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
But I don't know if it's a burden of proof. I think that's a terminology that confuses me. Same thing with weak atheism equals a kind of more or less agnosticism. Well, to me, when you say weak atheism, what does that mean? So I have to ask so even with agnosticism, these days we have to ask. Even with atheism, what do you mean by that?
Well, that's because, and you're right, but that's because atheist groups have tried to muddy the waters, and by enforcing their terminological understandings and make them normative, and try to make them normative and prescriptive. This is the problem. It used to make sense, but then when Flew and other atheists came around and said, hey, no, we want to change to this, it made these terms very non-useful. You have to ask nowadays. See, when you say, hey, I'm a theist, most people don't have to ask, well, what do you mean by that, right? Because theists have long established, that means that somebody who believes there's a God of some kind, right? But atheists have been very dishonest. They've been very intellectually dishonest. And they have made it, instead of being the position where if you say I'm an atheist to I believe there are no gods, they were like, oh, no. We're going to make it where I don't believe. So now you have, and by the way, in other countries, it is still the belief that God does not exist is normative. So if somebody from Europe says I'm an atheist, they are meaning I believe God does not exist in most cases.
And I object to your use of the term dishonest. No, I think they are being honest. I am being honest. I am maybe struggling with that term, and we might be disagreeing with the correct term to use. But the theists are not the word police, and neither are the atheists.
Well, no,
However,
I think you misunderstand, though.
Just let me finish
Sure.
my idea. However, I think when you're talking about atheism, I think we should take into consideration what the atheists actually say. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so
that's kind of part of the problem, right?
yeah, so like when Cheshire says he's an atheist, I have to ask her what she means by that nowadays.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I don't have to ask a theist what they mean by it. That's why I think an atheist is being, not all atheists, but again, some atheists are being dishonest when they're just trying to muddy the terminology.
You're using that word again. You're using
You want me to clarify it?
Sure.
I think I can clarify. There's a difference between people who don't know any better, who have been taught to use terminology that they may or may not understand and are using it to the best of their ability, and they may or may not be confused about that. That's
you
fine.
can use me, Chesh, you can use me as an example of that.
Sure, it can be anybody. You can do the same thing with the same things happens in like church, where people are using the word theory and they're completely misusing and misunderstanding what people are talking about. And but there are people who know better in the church that are misinforming people, purposefully causing things like bait and switches. People like Kent Hovind, for example. He knows better. He's been informed, but he does it anyway. And the same thing happens with atheists, where there are people who know better and who know these terminologies and are purposefully using this word to mean this thing and then switching it in another sentence to mean this thing, while implying that it means the same in both cases.
Yep. Hey, Chesh, somebody had to ask, why not ask them what they mean and stop bitching about definitions? So let's play this little game out here, okay?
If we ask them, they get mad.
Hey, let's play this game out. Hey, Steve, how are you using atheism? I'm using atheism as a belief that God does not exist. You're strawmanning atheism. You're using atheism wrong. How are you using agnostic, Steve? Well, I'm using agnostic as the psychological position of agnostic who doesn't have a position either way. You're using agnosticism wrong. Agnosticism deals with knowledge. Yeah. They ask me how I'm using these terms. I tell them, and then they're telling me that I'm using them wrong. So that doesn't work.
Yes, it works.
But you see my point, though? It doesn't work.
You've seen the number of
your
conversations.
Point, and you're wrong. You're wrong.
I mean, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ray. You're welcome to go through all of Steve's Twitter, and you can tell me and count the number of times this conversation
that has happened hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of times over the years.
You can't just say he's wrong.
No, I don't want to just say he's wrong. I want to explain why I think that he is wrong.
Yes,
and
please.
By the way, I'd like to start off with what you said, Chess, about... No, that's not how you say it. But anyway, I'm sorry. How do you say it?
You're fine.
Ches?
I'm not that picky. You're good.
Okay, Ches.
She's been called worse.
You are saying Kenham, was it? No,
I think I used Kent Hovind as an example, but it doesn't matter. Kenham works just as well.
They're the same person.
Yeah. Kent Hovind has been told, so he knows better. I am sorry, Ches, but you cannot read his mind. If he confesses to us
he has confessed to this. This is not unknown knowledge. This is something that we're
Okay, then I believe it. Then I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, you should have said, and he confessed.
Well, I mean,
I didn't really won the election, then we know that he has been lying or he was mistaken.
Well, he has confessed that he does not have any credentials to teach high school, and he never did actually teach high school. I got him to confess that. That is on video.
But that's not what Ches was talking.
No, I know, but I mean, I do believe that he knows better. He's absolutely.
You believe that he knows better.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your belief. You might be wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can be wrong about most beliefs.
So I have a question.
That's just called denialism.
So my question then is that how do you feel about Aaron Ra's use of the word or his definition of a lying?
Oh, I don't know
that or no?
Sorry, don't know it.
Basically, if you've had something explained to you so many times and you've been informed that you're wrong and you refuse to accept that you're wrong,
Yeah.
then you are being dishonest, either to yourself or to other people, or both.
Oh, poor Raw. He's wrong. What a weird way to think. No, just because you can't accept the truth doesn't mean that you're lying about the truth. Oh, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
can't
going to say Aaron's lying. I think he's just inept and he doesn't know these topics. I'm not going
this is-
to.
No,
this
he
is-
really
this is
knows.
my
Listen,
definition.
he is amazing when it comes to biology. Yes.
Sure.
yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I won't take that away from him. Yes.
Amazing, and he looks like a Satan. But other than that, like sometimes, like if he says statements like that, I gotta roll my eyes. Come on, I'll talk to the guy, but he has to pay me first. But I'll talk to him.
Yeah. All right.
He's, people can be wrong.
All right. So
we
where
can
am I?
be
Where's
wrong
where's
about
my
Ted
error here,
Hovind.
though?
Your error is that I'm old and don't.
Yeah, you're old, therefore you're wrong. That always works. I mean, that's a trump card, they call it.
No,
Yeah.
You were saying, I forget what you were saying. I'm sorry.
That's
What
cool.
were you saying? Do you
I
remember?
forget. What was I saying,
You
Chesh?
forget too.
Yeah, I'm old, man. I'm old, therefore I'm wrong.
Well, okay. This might remind you. The part where you were wrong. What was that?
I don't know. If I knew that, then
I
Steve-
know. I just made a joke. Okay.
Steve was describing the definitions he uses for atheism and agnosticism when people ask him, and then
Oh
those
yeah,
people
thank you,
will-
Wiz. Oh, this is why I keep Wiz
Straw man.
around. Yes, thank you.
Sem-
Bravo.
the
Yes,
semantic.
straw man.
Bellissimo, bellissimo.
Okay, you're wrong about strong man, Steve. So, let's say I get your idea wrong over and over and over because I'm stupid and old. I'm not lying.
No, that wasn't my argument, though.
Okay, do you remember?
Yeah, let me tell you the argument. So the argument is this. Somebody had to say, well, why don't you just ask somebody what they mean? And I say, okay.
Yes.
So if somebody asks me, hey, Steve, what do you mean by atheism? And I respond, I mean by atheism as the belief that God does not exist. And their response to me is, you're straw-manning atheism, which makes no sense because you only straw-man a
Okay.
position. Oh, hang on. Or they tell me that's not the correct definition. And they say,
Okay.
according to American atheism, there is only one correct definition. There's only one usage. Therefore, your usage is wrong. After they've asked me how I'm using it, right? Or when they say, hey, Steve, how are you using agnosticism? And I say, is the psychological state of being agnostic on a proposition where you do not believe either way. And they say, well, no, you're wrong. Agnosticism deals with knowledge. They're asking me how I'm using it. I'm telling them in accordance to actual academic understandings and philosophy. And then they're telling me that I'm using it incorrectly after asking me how I'm using it. So that doesn't work when you ask somebody that question, is my point.
Okay.
Yeah, that
all
doesn't make
thanks for-
sense.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I could say that, let's say you misrepresent my definition of atheism, right? And I use one and I don't use the other, right? So then you go, no, that's not what it means. Well, that's dumb. And if I say, oh, no, some guy there on the internet told me that was true. Well, that's pretty dumb. And if you insist, and if I insist, listen, words are merely pointers for ideas. So the label, as I was saying in the group, the label doesn't matter. The finger pointing at the moon is not the important part of what's going on. It's the moon, not the label, not the finger.
Well, that's why I make these logical arguments. That's why I make it about the
Yes.
logic, right? Because the logic is immutable. I think the logic will say, look, if I don't believe, it's only because I believe, or I have no position either way. There's only three rational positions, right? There's four total
Yes.
positions, right? I mean, let's look at the logic. There's four possible positions,
Yeah.
right?
I think there's another possible position on. I heard that on a guy on the Matt Dillahunty show there, Atheist Experience. He says agnosticism. He doesn't care.
Well, that's apatheism, but
Doesn't care.
but yeah, but that falls but that falls into believe neither, right? So there's really if reductionism would be there's four positions, right? Let's go through these. You believe it.
Okay.
You believe it true, you believe it false, you don't believe either, or you believe both. Those are the only four logical positions you can have. There are no others.
No. Believe both.
Yeah, I said that. Believe true, believe false,
No,
believe neither, believe both.
Is like yes and no at the same time.
Right, but
Believe both?
but it's a contradiction. But I'm saying those are yes.
Oh.
So let's walk through this. There's four logical positions, right? Would you agree with that?
You have to spell them out again.
Yes. Believe true, believe false, believe neither, believe both.
Okay, and I believe both is.
But there's a contradiction, which you agree with, and so that leaves 3.
Yes, 3 logical. Valid.
Yeah, epistemically valid ones, right? So you believe true, believe false, or believe neither. Those are only 3 options you get.
Yeah.
All right.
And now we have many different ways of saying that because English is so poetical.
And that's fine. Yeah, that's not a problem with that. But the thing is, if you believe neither, I call that agnostic because that's what it is in the literature. You know.
Yeah, if you believe. No, you see, I don't use the word agnostic like that at all. Ever.
But that's what it is in the literature, though. That's an objective fact.
Okay,
Yeah,
they have a right to define words the way they like.
So what do you?
Okay,
what would you? Would you?
right. Do you take? Hold on, Steve.
Sure.
Do you take issue with people misusing the term theory to mean just a guess when they're talking about something like in a field of science?
Hello?
Hello?
I'll talk for him.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that very much, you know. I don't know, we lost him.
Hello?
Uh-oh. He pulled the plug.
What's the matter?
There you
I
go.
don't know.
She's asking you a question.
Okay, we didn't hear you.
Did you hear-
Okay. All right, that's fine. I can repeat. The question was, do you take issue if somebody uses the term theory to mean just a guess when they're referring to something from a field of study, like a scientific field of study?
Can he not hear you?
Who's the question directed towards?
Ray.
It's Steve.
Yes.
Oh, to me?
Yes, you.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry. Do
no.
I? Oh my God! I was waiting for the.
I'll
Do I
ask again. It's not
object?
a
It
problem.
depends on the person. It depends on the level of conversation.
I'm
However,
not
in a
talking about
field,
any of that. I'm asking, like, without any of
Scientific.
those things, if somebody is using the term theory,
yeah,
to mean
I
just
would
a
ask
guess,
him. Yes, I would say, well, you know, people use words differently. And yes, theory can be used to mean just a guess. But in science, it's a scientific theory is not just a guess.
Correct.
It's something else. They mean
So it
something
makes
else.
sense then that if Steve is having a conversation about philosophy and somebody comes to him and says, well, this is the way I'm using the word, and Steve says, well, that's fine, but that's not how it's used in philosophy, then that's
Right.
perfectly acceptable.
And yes, actually, I would agree with that. Yes, it is perfectly acceptable.
That's all I've ever done most of the time, and I get pushback on that.
And I tried to use the word because real quick. Can I say because? Why? How come? Because in philosophy, we must define our terms. And since if I'm engaging in a philosophical discussion, I'm an amateur philosopher. So I get to define the term, and then we can discuss.
I'm okay with that.
You know, is that a useful term? Is that clear? Does it cause confusion? Blah, blah, blah.
I don't.
You know,
I don't take a problem with that.
I like to call everything Rayism. Just everything.
So let me ask you, Ray. What? Just out of curiosity, what would you call that position where you don't believe either way? If you had a name for it, what would you call it?
If I don't believe either way, it's oh boy, what do I
See, we already have a really good word
it.
for it. It's called agnostic. But if you want to find something else for it, I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah. What do I say if I don't believe? I use a phrase. I don't have a term. I use a phrase. The phrase is, I don't know. I just don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't.
Okay, well, I mean, we have a really good word for it already that's in the literature that people use.
The word is agnostic.
Agnostic, yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit convincing. Yeah. A bit.
What is going on here? You're not supposed to agree with me on shit. What is the hell's this? Stop this! I don't like this. This is making me uncomfortable.
I don't wanna burn in hell.
Cheshire, what is he doing? What is he doing? Stop this!
I'm
Yeah,
saving
you-
my soul. I'm saving my soul by agreeing with.
Now
the
I gotta go
theist
pee.
thing.
I'm so excited. I can't deal with this. I gotta go pee.
Yeah, just sit there and enjoy.
Well, no, I'm not. I've got to go pee. You know how uncomfortable that is. You're my age, probably. You know it sucks. You got a bladder the size of a grape.
However, I believe it. Who was it? Huxley coined the term agnostic.
Yeah, Huxley coined it, but he coined a term.
Hey, and he uses it to mean not knowing, right?
More specifically,
Agnosticism.
Well,
Gnosis is knowledge, right?
Well, nos. It was nos. It was N-O-S. G-N-O-S is what he used, not gnosis.
Yeah.
He wanted
gnosis. Gnosis is kind of similar to knowledge, right?
Well, hang on. The reason why he used nos, N-G-N-O-S, was because he wanted to refer to having the illusion of having knowledge. According to Robert Flint, 1903, in Agnosticism, he wrote that and he was a contemporary of Huxley, that Huxley felt that he thought theist and atheist merely had the illusion of having knowledge or even the belief they were not justified to say one way or the other about anything when it came to God. So he coined the term agnosticism to be the illusion of having knowledge.
Right. So an illusion of having knowledge is pretty much the same as saying you don't have real knowledge. Yeah, so I use the term like that. I use the term agnostic to mean I don't know.
Well, that still falls. But here's the thing. But here's the thing. That still falls in line the way it currently is used. It's still in line with how he would use it, right? Because if I say, "Look, I don't. Does God exist?" and I say, "I don't know," I don't have a position either way. It falls exactly in line with his use of it. Because I don't know is not expressing about a knowledge claim. It's not about epistemic knowledge. I don't know is an ordinary doubt. But it still falls in line with it. And I say, look, I don't know how to answer that question. So I don't have a belief either way.
You're talking about the implication of agnosticism. If I don't know, therefore, by implication, I can't really have an opinion.
Which makes you agnostic.
But that's my position. But if you ask me, is there a God or no? Yes or no? I said, I can't answer that question. I'm an agnostic. I don't know.
Right, which makes, but again, an agnostic has no position either way. So you're describing the same exact position.
But no.
There's a difference without a distinction there.
That's the implication. But we're not talking about the implication. We're talking about the answer to the question is I don't know. So it's not, and therefore, I usually tell people I used to be an agnostic, a la Huxley, and then I realized that if I don't know anything about a God, it's pretty stupid for me to say I know about a God. So I don't know anything about a God.
Right, but you're expressing a belief. You believe there are no gods, right?
Because I don't have any evidence. I don't know. There might be a God behind.
Well, forget about the justification. Don't worry about the justification. You say there are no gods, correct?
As far as I know, there are no gods.
Okay, that's fine. Everything as far as you know. That's kind of a throwaway statement, right? So
okay, but yeah.
All right, so you believe that
it's because everything is as far as you know.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a throwaway statement. So you hold
for any proposition, it's as far as I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say Wiz. Well, you're an atheist too. So all right, if I remember, Wiz, or did you change it to agnostic? I don't remember.
I have not changed.
You have not changed. Okay. So I'm the only one that would if I say, "Hey, Wiz, does God exist?" If he's an atheist, he's going to say no, right? He's not going to say, "I don't know." He's going to say no because that's his belief. We're asking about a belief position, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but if you ask me, "Does God exist?" then I say, "I don't know." That means I don't know how to answer the question because I'm not going to answer no to that because then I'm a strong atheist, right?
I thought you were a theist. Sorry.
Me? I'm not a theist. Are you kidding?
Yeah, brain fart. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're an atheist. That's right.
I'm agnostic, right? So Wiz and Cheshire,
agnostic.
all three of you have a different answer to that question. Does God exist? All three of you as atheists would say no. And then forget about the justification. We're not worried about that. But all three of you say no.
The justification. Yeah, you don't need a justification.
You do, but I'm not. We're not going to worry about it.
No, you need to have justification if you're going to have the conversation. You don't really need to have personal justification if you don't care. But in that case, why are you making any kind of statement?
Exactly.
Yes, in a conversation, if if I refuse to answer, I end the conversation. So I have to give an answer. And if I'm challenged, well, why don't you believe in a God? And I say, I don't want to talk about it. Well, it's over.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Absolutely. That's my point. Yeah, you've just nailed my point.
Practically speaking, if someone tells you, no, that's not the right definition of atheism, well, you know what? Practically speaking, if you dig in your heels and you go to the philosophers and you say their authority trumps you, goodbye, shut the door, the conversation is pretty much over. So if you want to have a conversation, you should say, okay, let's go with your definition.
And that's what I did here. This is my semantic collapse argument. If you go with their definitions, it logically leads to this.
Yes.
And I'm going to go pee.
So if we go to their definition, we have a semantic collapse and we all die. I don't see the
yeah, pretty much.
I don't see the negative consequence of that. I think we need to talk.
Their position becomes irrational.
Oh my God! We all know that the theist position is kind of irrational.
No,
we're talking about belief here, though.
You can have. Okay, so having a position that is irrational does not necessarily mean one thing or the other. The point is that the atheists and the theists are on the same playing field. Does that make sense?
Irrational is irrational. It doesn't matter if it's theistic or atheistic. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't.
So we want to understand each other, correct? We have to agree on terms.
It depends on the kind of who you're talking to in that case. Sometimes, yes, everybody wants to try to understand each other as best as they can. And sometimes you're dealing with people who are not interested. They just want to tell you how things are or are not.
Yes.
So you can try to understand each other and then say, okay, so I've listened to your argumentation. This is the write-up that I have where the logical consequence of you using these terms in this way falls into this semantic problem. And then they go, oh no, you're talking about philosophy. I'm not talking about philosophy. Fuck you. It's like, what?
Well, yeah. But there's some people, everybody's not on the same level. So there's some people who shut the door. Like I talk to theists, well, you're just wrong. God exists, that's it. And, okay, that's not what we're talking about.
It's wrong to try and force people into a conversation they don't want to have.
Yeah. So we're not talking about that kind of conversation. These people are just there to preach because they're told to preach, and they do it. So, but there's people who really, really care, and they don't want to be wrong. I'm a person who doesn't want to be wrong. It hurts me. So I don't want to be wrong. And I'll fight. If I think I'm right, I'll fight because I don't want to be wrong, and you better damn well have a good reason to convince me because I'm already convinced. Yeah.
Do you think that talking about or providing information from people who professionally study in that field is valid? Would that be convincing?
Yeah, well, of course, yes, an expert. So I go to experts for better information, right?
So for utilizing definitions and terms and having a good understanding of epistemology, you would go to a philosopher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
makes
okay,
sense.
so yes, it makes perfect sense. So okay, I'm kind of convinced that I should go by what the consensus of the philosophers for their definition.
I would say there's consensus, but what I would do is this. If you want to use their usages, because if you want to go read a paper, that's how you would understand it. But if you don't, that's fine too. But my argument is you cannot say that they're wrong for using the usages that they do. I mean, and I'm not saying you do, but other atheists have, and that's where the problem lies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And other theists do the exact same thing. So it's not an atheistic problem.
I agree.
It's a human problem.
I agree.
Right?
Matter of fact,
it's a language problem.
But it's funny because I have to ask people, okay, let's use, I've done what you've said. Let's use your usages. Now, please explain to me how to read this paper using your usages. And you know what happens? I get shit on. They ignore me, they block me, they say I'm a troll and whatever, but they never answer that question. I swear to you, I'm not, to the best of my knowledge as the qualifier, right? I have never had anybody say, okay, let's use my usages to explain this paper. I've never seen that happen. Not once.
Yeah,
if I ever have, I surely don't remember it because I do not. Cheshire, have you ever seen anybody do that ever? Because I don't think I have.
Never.
Never.
Listen,
not on YouTube, not on Facebook, not on Twitter.
Yeah. Well,
Are you asking me if
I'm an
people
atheist?
actually refute and address your arguments like adult human beings?
Very rarely. Ray is one of the first people to actually, I gotta admit, it's been a while, but Ray is one of the first people to actually come on, have an honest critique or criticism and talk about things, even though, like I said, he didn't read it before, which is fine, but he was willing to engage on it. That's half the battle.
Yeah, yeah. But some people are not on that level. They do not know what philosophy is. They don't know what science is.
Agreed.
They believe the Bible, and that's about all they read. You know, and
Or they believe that Dylan.
But you're preaching to the choir on that. We're on board with that. Look, you know that I am an avid critic of young Earth creationism. That's how I got started. Everybody, most of the people that write for creation.com and Ken Hovind and the PhDs that write for, they all know who I am. I've talked to them. I have massive conversations with them in emails. So people that try to say, well, I'm just some kind of theist because I have these arguments. It just boggles my mind, right?
Well, I got the false impression. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's just strange.
I had to ask you because I'm making a lot of reference to what I call Trumpism these days because it's in the news, QAnon. So people are prone to fall for bullshit when it's repeated a lot. So religion gets a lot of their propaganda repeated a lot, so they believe it. And that's a human frailty, I'm afraid, And so theists, when you don't have a good argument, you use fallacious arguments. You do your best. Because they do it for a good reason, because they fear that if the consensus switches from Christianity to, let's say, atheism or anything else, the world is going to go to shit, to hell, in other words, to hell. So they have a great fear, and they don't really care about the truth. I don't know if Donald Trump really cared about any truth to any of his conspiracy theories. They are strategic. They're strategic. So I think the Christians are being strategic. Kent Hovind is being strategic. Ken Ham is being strategic. But I don't know if they believe that shit.
No, I agree with you. No, I don't think Trump believes half his crap. I think he's again, I'm not trying to pretend I know his mind, but these are my beliefs, right. and these are just strictly, again, beliefs. I'm not claiming knowledge, but I am under the impression, I'm convinced, he definitely doesn't believe 90% of his bullshit when it comes to religion. I think he just used the evangelical base to get where he is.
And it works.
Sure, absolutely it works.
It's proven. We could sell cigarettes with, lab coats. We can, and big oil sells big oil.
Yes, but he's also delusional, narcissistic, egocentric, authoritarian, in my opinion. But that's, again, just me.
Milo, the rescue puppy, is looking for attention.
I love rescue puppies.
Okay, but he steals everything.
We love doggies here. My rule of thumb is if you don't like doggies, you're probably not a good person. You're probably not human.
I'm not a good person. Well, I mean, I like him, but I'm not a good person.
You suck.
But
But you got a rescue doggie, so you're okay. You're redeemed.
What you got now? Wasn't my fault. I'm an evil person. Am I an evil person? Yes. It's the wife.
Is that your wife? She would know. Yeah. I always trust the wife. There's always a discussion between
anybody would know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know.
Anybody would know that I'm an evil person.
If it comes down to the wife and the husband, I'm going to choose the size of the wife like 95% of the time.
They have that look,
Yeah. They scare me. Wives scare me.
But, my intention is to promote what I call elevated conversations, and it ain't easy. As some people cannot want to have an elevated conversation, so they'll give bullshit and get angry. That's only God. They can't do it because I think a lot of people suffer from cognitive dissonance, and it hurts. So when you talk to an atheist, if you're an atheist talking to an atheist, it hurts. It's painful. It's scary.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
So to
quick.
get up to-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, quick question. Why does that guy, I'm going to butcher his name, but Bjorn from the Facebook group, why does he think he has any understanding of this stuff whatsoever? It's like I'm trying to teach calculus, when, by the way, I have calculus videos, so I do know a little calculus. Yeah. But it's like somebody who I'm trying to explain a Calc 2 video to, and they don't know basic algebra. He's not on that kind of level, and I don't think he understands it, and yet he thinks I'm not on that level. You mean, have you, from just what you witnessed so far with my argumentation, does this sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about at all? Because if I sound that way, I'd like to know why. Because
sound like a raving lunatic.
I'm crazy. I'm just crazy like that.
Yeah.
But I love dogs, so.
There you go. You're nice.
I'm nice.
You know, you want to be good. You want to be good. You know,
good people like dogs. Evil people don't. It's a fact.
It's that you murdered all these people. You know, you want to be good.
Wiz, do you like dogs?
I love dogs.
See, he's a good person on that.
I must admit, I am more of a cat person.
That's okay.
Me too.
No, cats are cool. No, I don't mind. Now, Cheshire might argue with that, but that's a whole different argument.
I made a study, and I proved, absolutely that cat people are better.
I find the cat people to be more lonely. I don't know. I don't.
Lonely and better.
Yeah, that's fine. They're not mutually exclusive, right?
That hurts, Steve. That hurts.
You know, I think that cat people.
Go ahead. You got the. Yeah. Ray? Ray, where'd you go? Ray, we can't hear you. Uh-oh. Does he got wife aggro? Did his mic stop working?
I don't know what happened.
Wife aggro.
He broke it. The rescue puppy heard him talking about cats and attacked him. Oh. But it is true. Dogs are more likely to eat your face if you die than cats, isn't it? Cats already took over everything.
No,
anyways.
it's the other way
around. Is it cats? You think cats more likely?
Yeah. It's the other way around.
So, anyways, Wiz, what have you read my article or my I guess it's an essay, my argument? Have you read it yet?
I tweeted to you about it. I have since. You
tweeted, you didn't read it. That's what you tweeted to me. But I didn't.
No. Then I replied to you.
Oh, okay. I didn't check. Okay, so.
But I've since I asked you a question. I've since sort of answered it after reading it again. But.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just noticed a message. I got you in here, Joe. If you're still listening, Joe. I don't know. Joe didn't have members things. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just in getting him in here.
I got nothing else to say.
So you did read it and you agree with it then?
Oh yeah, completely.
Okay. Awesome. You're a smart
man.
He
had a question that has since been answered.
Good. Yeah. Well, I mean, I would love people to have read it and say, okay, this is the issue I have with it, but it doesn't happen. I get trolls, but trolls don't. My argument is simple. If a troll has a knockdown argument, all they got to do is write it down, and 1,000 people will freaking use it, right? I don't have to listen to somebody that I do not like and will never talk to again for them to have a valid argument. It just means that they have to have somebody else,
right?
Explain it for them. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
Right.
Arguments.
Yeah, it has nothing. Deciding that there are people that you never want to deal with or talk to ever again is perfectly acceptable, and you're not required to listen to them because they may or may not have some kind of valid criticism. I can just have somebody that I don't like have very good advice for me and my life, and I can still just not want to talk to them ever in any way, even if they know the future.
If Kyle had a great argument about this and 1,000 people ran it, it would still be a good argument, right? I mean, I have to realize these things. I do realize them. But anyways, Joe. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello, my friend. Hello. That's like the, what is it from Seinfeld? Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing. This is Joe, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's your parents. Your parents named you that. I had nothing to do with it. So, what do you think of my argument, Joe?
This is the semantic collapse one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I genuinely didn't have anything I could really say against it.
So in other words, I paid you
made a
off
lot
to
of
say
sense.
that. You're my yes man. Got it. Okay. I did, and by the way, I didn't wait. I didn't tell. I mean, I didn't go around going, "Hey, look, man, you got to agree with me these things." I don't say, "Hey, this, and this." I'm like, "Will you read it and give me your critique?" That's all I tell people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to take it apart and tell you you're wrong, but I don't think you are in this regard.
Shock to me, I know. But I appreciate it, man. I love your stuff. I love your blog. You and I sound so much alike. I know people think we're the same person, but we're not. I think the accent should give it away, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. Plus, you've got pretty blue eyes, and
I do. They're actually green, but you have to look deeper in them.
I see. Well, see, mine they just look black on screen.
Well, you're British. black soul, black heart, black eyes. Yeah. I do. You know what? I do got to do Discord more often. I think Cheshire has kind of acclimated me to it. So.
Yeah, I quite like it actually.
You kind of say that every time, Steve.
I know. Well, each time I get a little more used to it, right? I gotta admit, I am having coffee with a Kraken and E&J Brandy. It's very yum.
I gotta give me some tea. I haven't had one yet, and I'm gonna put some Kahlua in.
You drank yesterday. I get to drink today.
I'm enjoying a bourbon myself.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Bourbon. You realize that is whiskey, right?
Yeah. It's like, as many Scotch drinkers say, it's not real whiskey.
Yeah. Well, some of it's not. Like I had Cutty Shark. My dad was a Cutty Shark drinker. Oh my God, was that nasty?
Yeah,
do your peers know that you're drinking bourbon? Though, I mean, do they understand that you're soiling your heritage by drinking bourbon? Because that's American whiskey.
It is. But Americans had to do something, right?
What kind of bourbon? Kentucky?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's technically only bourbon if it comes from Kentucky.
Correct. Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels is the only true Kentucky bourbon, really. It's definitely the most well known, but yes, it is. To be bourbon, it has to be Kentucky.
It's a sour mash from Tennessee. Jack Daniels isn't actually a bourbon, even though everybody regards it.
It is a bourbon, isn't it? Jack Daniels.
No, it's from Tennessee, and it's a sour mash whiskey. So it's technically
Kentucky
not
whiskey.
A bourbon from that regard.
Okay, all right. I do see what you're saying.
I mean, it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's just in the same way that fizzy wine is only champagne. But it is
Tennessee whiskey, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I will agree with you that it's not technically a bourbon, but it people do call it bourbon, but it is a Tennessee whiskey. Matter of fact, I used to be a big fan of Jack back in the day, in my Navy days. Jack was not a fan of me.
Oh no,
no. Oh no, no. A fifth of Jack Daniels lasted me about a weekend, and man, it kills. I don't drink that much at rarities, and it's the weekend, so. But
very nice.
Yeah, I bought that bottle of Kraken. Oh my God, a while back, and I still have like 3/4 of it. Because when I put it in coffee, I put literally a capful in. A capful. That's not a lot of alcohol. It's just for flavor.
No, that is just a tiny bit of flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, but it works because, like, for example, I have this E&J. I forget I think it's some kind of reserve, but just a capful in it. It has this really nice vanilla flavor to it, and in coffee, I like kind of flavored coffees. And so the Kraken has that little flavored spice as well. So I can add that in just a capful, and it just gives a nice flavor for it. You're not going to get buzzed off or anything, but it tastes yummy.
Yeah, I do a similar thing on Christmas. I mean, speaking of Jack Daniels, the honey Jack Daniels. I quite often put the honey Jack Daniels in coffee Christmas morning. That's how I like to wake up.
That sounds yum. I have organic honey that I put in coffee. Yeah. Yum.
Oh, you guys are making me thirsty. I gotta go get a tea.
Tea with alcohol or just tea?
How dare you?
What do you mix with that? What do you mix with tea for alcohol?
Oh, blimey. It depends on the type of tea, but in general, I would say don't.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Yeah, I drink tea, no alcohol. I don't think I would put alcohol in tea. Unless it's Long Island, then you got to.
Oh, actually, no, I can think of a tea that I might do it with. So if I've got a lemon and ginger tea that I sometimes have,
Ooh.
but if I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, I will add some honey and some whiskey and a little bit of chili peppers, and actually squeeze the juice of a whole lemon in there as well.
That sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, and also it makes you feel great. Like you're sitting there with like really bad cold or flu symptoms, and you have like one of these, and all of a sudden, I'm good for an hour.
Yeah. It makes you feel better. At least you don't care as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that sounds really good. No, I usually I drink like Earl Grey. I've got I usually drink some chamomile early time or sleepy time. I've got just black tea. It all depends on how I make it. If I steep it, I'll use a black tea, or like an Earl Grey. If I make a pitcher, then I have a cold brew that I use. So it really depends on the type of tea. I'm a big tea drinker actually, but it's I don't mix alcohol with that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, in general, I can't see any reason to.
Boy, we must all agree on the semantic collapse argument, because now we're talking about alcohol, the more important things in life.
And tea.
And tea, yeah. I don't happen to Ray, though. Ray's in here, but I don't know if his mic, or he got aggro, or he had to go.
He kind of ended up agreeing with us anyway. So
that's true. Well, he's a smart guy, obviously. I really do want to find somebody that has a really valid point to make, though. I mean, and as far as the argument. Now, again, Josh and I went through the logic, and we think that the logic is correct. We didn't see any striking errors. There's only one sentence in there that is very difficult to explain. It made complete sense in my head when I wrote it. Josh agreed. But if anybody's going to find any issue with it, it's going to be with that one sentence. It doesn't mean the argument's bad. It just means that one sentence it may not be correct. But I think it made sense in my head. But it doesn't mean that the argument's invalidated if that one sentence isn't the case. But they don't even try.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Do you know what sentence I'm talking about? Probably not.
No. Yeah. I've got the article back up now. I'm trying to go through and go, where is this?
There's one place where I say, and again, this made sense in my head. I said, given psi and psi are sub-alterations, if and only if S entails or believes that not psi. Phi implies psi, but S does not believe that phi does not imply psi, then any form of phi that implies psi where S does not believe that psi implies phi, while S holding to phi and not psi will result in semantic collapse. Say that 1,000 times fast.
Yeah. It is quite convoluted. I've got that one highlighted on the screen.
Yeah. Now, again, that made sense when I wrote it. Okay. And Josh said, yeah, it makes sense too. But again, if somebody finds error in this argument, I guarantee it'll be in that particular sentence there. Although I don't think that there is.
The only thing I'd say there is just write it in really dumbed down English underneath it, just to clarify it that little bit further. Because, I mean, whilst the argument is all there and it's all sort of like logically correct, I think it would be backed up by putting it in really plain English underneath that bit, so then people can read that bit and go, "What the fuck does that mean?" Yeah, I see what it means.
I don't know if it was the psi and the not phi where it results in semantic collapse. I don't know if the not works there, and I think it does, but I'm not quite sure. I need an actual logic expert to check that for me. But you're right. I need to probably go through and just put it underneath the. This is like I said, this made sense in my head. But that negation there, for some reason, it just has this weird thing to me sticking out going, is that really a negation there? Or should it just be phi and psi, or psi and phi, will result in semantic collapse? Because you're putting in both the sub-alterations. Or do I need that not there? I think, I'm not sure. But no. Actually, that does make sense. It does make sense. I realize I put the not there. Because if you hold to the not subalteration, right? So if I hold to not BSP, let me write it out. So if I hold to not BSBG, right? I just get BS not G. I don't know why I capitalized that. Let me change that. Hang on. So I'm typing this in the live chat. So, God damn it, I did it again. I suck. I suck
God
at this.
damn it, Steve.
Damn it.
Why are you like this?
So,
This is why people think you're a fraud.
right? There we go. All right, so that's what you end up with, right? So if you are somebody that holds to weak theism but doesn't hold to this, the BS not G, as in the positive case, you have no position either way. See? And so it results in semantic collapse. Yes, so it does work. Yay. Yay. I'm a fraud. I don't know what that even means. I don't get that. What am I a fraud about? I've never portrayed myself to be somebody I'm not. And then somebody the other day was like doing some dirt digging, and they're like, I found out Steve doesn't have a PhD. I'm like, no shit. I'm surprised to no one.
Well, it was like the other day when you were going on. I've forgotten his name already. The law of identity conversation, and he put you down as a logician and all of that.
Yeah.
And you straight up corrected.
Yeah.
I'm not a logician. I'm not this. I'm not that. At the end of the day, it's something you're impassioned about, you're interested in, and spent a lot of time looking into, and self-taught yourself. But you've never claimed to have any sort of.
I'm happy to say I've reached the point where I'm willing to say I consider myself to be an amateur philosopher. I think that I probably would be okay with that. You know, an amateur philosopher, meaning that I like the topic, I read about it, no expertise whatsoever. Is that too much to say that I'm an amateur philosopher?
No.
Because I think people are talking about philosophy. You're an amateur philosopher.
I mean, I'd regard myself as a philosophy enthusiast, but
What's
there
the
is an
difference?
argument to be. Well, I don't think I'm well versed enough to regard myself a philosopher.
But you're British. It's automatic. No, I would call you an amateur philosopher. I mean, I would call Dave a professional one, right? I mean, but
I would
I
call
mean,
you-
he wouldn't even call himself that, though.
well,
He
that's what a
wouldn't. I mean,
professional would do. Professionals don't. The professionals are the one that go, no, I don't have any expertise in this. You know. Hi, Paul.
All he knows is he knows nothing.
Hello. We've actually got you
and
on
I mean,
Discord.
sorry, mate, I missed you there.
What, Paul?
I'm just saying we actually got Steve on Discord.
Yeah, Cheshire's been bugging me and yelling at me and screaming at me and forcing me to. She's forced me. She forced me to do a lot of things I don't want to do. Consent is not an option with her sometimes. Have you read the argument, Paul?
I haven't. I just saw that he was on Discord and I thought, what? Steve on Discord?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is like my WASP argument on steroids. I think this is like the next level from WASP. Because I think I really just nailed it with this one.
It's interesting, actually. What you've done with this argument is you've laid down and really, well, it's complex, but at the same time, if you take it at the very at the square at the top, it's actually quite understandable there. And looking at that, I don't understand how someone could argue it. But then even with things like the WASP argument, people don't actually argue against it. They just go, no, it's not special pleading. And you go, well, why is it not special pleading? And they go, because it's not.
Here's why I think it is special pleading. Now, well, you're wrong. Okay, how?
You know what's so funny is, I mean, there are people that recognize to get out of the WASP argument, all they got to do is bite the bullet. All they got to do is say, yeah, theists can do it. That's okay. It doesn't defeat the argument, but it just, I mean, the argument doesn't apply to them then. The argument still is true. The argument still holds. It is special pleading. But they'll just go, yeah, you're right. I'm not special pleading because I'm fine with theists doing it. Okay, there you go. I mean, that works, right? That does
really, it's really not that complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of
It does work, but then obviously you're stuck in contradiction, aren't you? Because a weak theist and a weak atheist and an agnostic are all the same. And you can't have a theistic atheist or an atheistic theist. So you're out of the special pleading, but you're into contradiction.
Yeah, well, the whole
pleading, and you're like 3 feet deep in muck of nobody knows what anybody is anymore, and who really cares?
Yeah, well, the whole, I mean, I've got other things for agnostic atheism and theism, and I got other logical arguments for that. But I really would like to find somebody who would want to rewrite the Wikipedia article on that, because it's crap. And if you read the talk on agnostic atheists and Gnostic atheists, you read the talk section on those things, even they recognize there's no citations for this shit. This is all made up bullshit. Matter of fact, I don't know why somebody hasn't fixed that shit yet, because Wikipedia has a lot of crap on it. Those pages are crap. They have no academic citations of any consequence. They're descriptive in nature. Yes, it recognizes that people use the terms, but it doesn't really actually define what they ever actually are, at least in any significant way, because it means multiple different things. And so people in the talk section going, hey, you know what? We need better information about these things, because these are just stubs. But nobody has taken upon themselves to actually write a decent article on this or essay on it, and I don't know why. You should do that, Joe.
I almost feel like Steve needs to just write a book.
I told Joe I'd write a chapter with him.
And he just won't do it by himself. He needs somebody to hold his hand.
I'm one of those people. I do better with others. Yes, I'm codependent.
Yeah, I think the idea of a book is actually a good idea. I think that it would take a lot of work to get done, but I think it would be good to approach many things. I mean, it's one of the things we were thinking about doing with the site, even if it was just an ebook, turning some of the articles into it. But there is a lot of work that needs to be done in refinement.
And look, I don't want to dime from it. I don't want anything from it. I don't want to make any money off that whatsoever. I just want somebody to take my work, put them in a book, put it in chapters, and have at it. Do what they got to do.
Yeah, but now you're asking them to do work for you without talking about money.
He makes all the money. He could have all the money. I mean, the big 5 downloads at 5 cents a piece. Let him retire off that.
The exposure.
Yeah, I want the exposure. I want to be exposed. Yeah, I get all the time. Steve McCrae exposed.
Like, there's not enough of those. That's why you should just name the book. Steve McCrae exposed.
That's actually pretty good.
That's the name of the publishing company.
With a picture of you just in a little towel.
Yeah, exactly. I love that idea. Do it. Let's do it.
A towel in front of him, and he's just like got his hand over his mouth, and he's like, "Oh."
No. Can I wear like a medical garb, but just have my ass hanging out a little bit on the back, and I'm just turning around, but and going, "Oops."
That's the back page where the blurb is.
Yep. I love that idea. Well, like I said, people are like, "Oh, well, this is a stupid argument." I'm like, "Okay, why is it Dr. Sarfati took it and put it on his blog, for God's sake, on creation.com?" And it's like, yes, you can argue what creationist agrees with you. Oh, that's great, but hey, at least somebody recognized that this is a good argument.
Non-sequitur is just stamped on his ass.
Because at that point, it gets exposure, and somebody will go, "Hey, let's actually talk about this particular argument," and people have been a little bit, and so. Yeah, when you get to these other talk shows that are around, people are like, they don't want to talk about these arguments. They don't want to talk about arguments that they don't either A, understand, or B, shows that they have some problems with their usages. Speaking of new shows, Josh, want to pimp ours?
What?
Pimp it out.
What?
Pimp our show.
One for tomorrow. The one for tomorrow.
I don't know what, and nobody informed me of this. I feel like no, we got our show, and we're getting our sort of more official launch. Last week was like our trial run. This week is like our, hey, we're actually doing the thing now. Let's do the thing. And so that's coming on Monday. So that'll be tomorrow at 2 p.m. my time, which is Eastern.
Yeah, I've been trying.
GMT.
I've been trying to share it everywhere. I'm trying to get the information out, So I don't know where else to put it. So if you guys can help us share the new show, it's called Judgment Call. So
Yeah, if I ever see any of the links, I'll happily retweet them and share them on Facebook. Not a problem. You're always welcome to post them in our Discord.
Sweet.
Though our Discord's like quite small at the moment. So.
I did that already.
You did, I know.
Did anybody post it in Discord? Did anybody post it on a Facebook group like we asked? Did anybody do anything that we asked of them? No, it's okay.
You're the one who's supposed to post it on Facebook.
I did.
don't do Facebook
I did. Yeah. Yes. Well, we got a lot of calls on Caffeine Corner. We ended up going an hour overtime. So I don't think it's, a lack of calls. It's just I want, some new names and stuff like that if possible.
We also don't shut the fuck up.
That's true.
I mean, if you really want, a lot of pointless blather, get Jeffrey on.
Who?
Jeffrey.
Who?
The guy on Twitter?
Yes.
Oh, that guy. Oh, my God. What a bloviating... he just... God, does he say nothing? Literally, does he say absolutely nothing? And it's really bizarre, actually.
Yeah, he seems to be targeting everything I say at the moment and just jumping onto everything and going really missing the point and arguing, and then all of a sudden coming in with Wittgenstein, and it's just any point you actually want to make, or are you just gonna name drop again?
Yeah, he's odd. He's an odd chap, as they say in your lands. He's an odd fella.
I need to learn just to not respond. But unfortunately, when someone he's obviously quite good at triggering something in me that makes me need to respond.
It's because he's so confidently incorrect. That's why. He's so confident about how just wrong he is about things, and he's got he has the foresight or forethought of a 3-year-old. So he's like, well, I was right about this one thing 30 seconds ago, but I didn't think about or I'm saying you're wrong about this thing 30 seconds ago, but I didn't actually think through the logic of wait, if I'm right here, then I'm wrong here.
Well, I have somebody like him too. He started off as my troll. You kind of took him, which is fine. But I got that Jennifer C troll who is so beyond dumb.
Worst.
I have literally said.
I had to mute that one. They did not. Dear God.
It is basically you're too stupid for me to respond. I cannot do it. You're too dumb. I can't. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So
yeah, I can understand that. I mean,
forgive your father for
Twitter is becoming more and more of that place where I'm just not enjoying the conversations anymore.
What conversations?
Yeah, these people have no conversation. I mean, again, that between Jennifer and Jeff guy, is that his name?
Yeah.
I mean, they're two peas in a pod of just a wealth of stupidity. They have nothing. They have nothing to add to a conversation. No, okay, fair enough. He's well read, but his understanding of argumentation is shit, and he has absolutely nothing to say. It's he has all that information, but he basically he has this weird reductionism approach to Wittgenstein, and he's basically just saying, hey, look, words have no meaning. They're anything you want. Therefore, nothing has any meaning to anything. It doesn't matter what you say. Beetle in a box argument. That's basically his entire shtick.
Yep.
It's just a weird reductionism into Wittgenstein word nihilism. Oh, that's good. Wittgenstein word nihilism. That's kind of what it is. How else would you describe it?
Yeah, I'd just say it's pointless.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be as clever as how you described it there.
Well, even Wittgenstein would probably go, okay, this guy's needs to shut up. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I've never read any Wittgenstein, so I really can't comment,
I've tried. It's hard. The beetle in the box argument is hard.
I sort of understand the beetle in the box argument, but it's when he does come at me and argue, and he said, he comes out with something, and he never actually explains anything. He just basically name drops and says that, Wittgenstein says you're wrong.
Yeah. If you can't explain Wittgenstein, then I can't have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's actually said, if you haven't read Heidegger and Wittgenstein, you're not worth having a conversation with.
Yeah.
Well, fuck off then.
It's just bizarre. It's like he seems to think he's kind of the I am very smart subreddit.
Oh yeah, that's a brilliant one actually.
Oh, by the way, Ray left me a message. His tablet battery died.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually said he's left the Discord to become a Scientologist. No, I'm just kidding.
Makes sense to me.
We need to have a Scientologist come in one of these days, Chesh.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take the chance that they're like go nuts on us.
You guys had a Scientologist on NSS, didn't you?
No, we actually had David Miscavige's father on, who is an anti-Scientologist.
Debunkers had an ex-Nazi or Scientologist or something on. That was weird. I could ask them.
Yeah, we need to start having people come back on, I guess.
Yeah, I can't remember what the guy exactly was. I'm sure Mr. Serious remembers. He was there.
Anyway, so I think that we're pretty well done as far as the atheist semantic collapse argument, right? I mean, anybody else? I mean, asking in the live chat. I mean, you got anything? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Actually, I'd like to speak. American atheists define atheism differently, so you're wrong.
Damn it! Damn it!
I think that there is an issue with of being so tentative of saying that, well, you can't know somebody's thought process, so you can't know if they're lying, is a dangerous road to go down.
I agree.
Just like in real life. You know what I mean? Like, you can't live your life that way. You need to be able to make a decision about things and about people, about who you're going to interact with or who you're not going to interact with.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, there are times where you can claim knowledge without problem. I mean, there are certain people that have had actual contradictions and things of that nature where you can say, look, I know they're lying, because you can be justified with that. It is true that they're lying. You believe it and you're justified to. So I have no problem with certain knowledge claims, but you have to have proper justification for knowledge, is my point. You don't have to read their minds. You just have to be able to have the proper justification to say, look, this person has lied, and here's why. And show it. That's it.
Yeah. Or when it comes to things like argumentation, it's okay to say, hey, somebody is wrong. Well, you don't know if they're wrong. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, A does not equal A. What? No, you're wrong. I know you're wrong. It's have you noticed though, it's the atheists having these weird things. You have there's an atheist activist that doesn't believe in the law of identity. You have an atheist activist that believes rocks are atheist. You have an atheist activist who was the other one? There's another one that has a weird... Oh, yeah. An atheist activist who believes rocks are immoral? T-Jump? It's like, what is going on with you atheists? Stop it! You're making us non-believers look bad. I hate it. It's bad. Stop it.
Really wish I had a different word for my ontological position. You know, I believe gods don't exist, and that makes me an atheist, and I'm surrounded by all of these.
I've been told that I've been told that is a quote. What was the term? Idiot. Presumptuous idiot. You're a presumptuous idiot, according to another atheist of your clan. Yes.
Well, I mean, they're probably right there, but...
Mr. Serious, yes, T-Jump believes that a rock is immoral if it violates your will. It is called an involuntary imposition of will. And so if a rock falls off a cliff and it hits you on the head, that rock, according to T-Jump, in his brilliant moral theory, will argue that the rock has committed an immoral act. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to wrap your head around it. It's not going to work.
No, he just doesn't.
It's so much wrongness. It's so much wrongness.
The rock is a dick. He's an asshole.
Although I suppose I suppose if you want to be really, really, really charitable, which I'm sure we don't, but let's just say we could. If hard determinism is true, there is no real moral or immoral, and all we actually have is good and bad consequences of things happening. So in that regard, if we're going to go regard a good and bad consequence as something that is, moral or immoral, that is the only way I think you can sort of justify that with it in, because, a rock falling off a cliff is exactly the same as us. If hard determinism is true, we're all NPCs. We've got no choice. We've got no agency. So in that regard, that's the most charitable I can be to him.
I would say fatalism would be that.
My liver won't stand my consuming infinite quantities of codeine. Why is my liver being so immoral?
Yeah, so fatalism would definitely be that, and you're probably right with the hard deterministic. That's why most people will go to soft compatibilism or soft determinism, which is compatibilism. But yeah, I know I see your argument there. Of course, yeah. If it's actually hard determinism where there's actually no choice whatsoever that leads to fatalism, then there is no moral culpability. And so me doing something is no different than a rock at that point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or an avalanche or anything like that. There is no agency. There's just different configurations of the universe.
Correct. Yeah. No, I'm on board with that.
So, I suppose you'd have to lay down that first and understand that sort of morality has actually lost its meaning, and what he's just talking about is good and bad consequences.
Consequentialism at its finest, yes. But there's no, but there is no consequentialism.
Then an imposition of will.
Yeah,
he then mentions an imposition of will.
But there's fatalism. There's no consequences.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, I tried really hard there to be charitable, but even then, with the words he uses,
it's really difficult to even try to make anything coherent out of what he said. By the way, if you not noticed, I got 9 dislikes and 9 people didn't explain why the argument was bad. Go figure.
That's just because it's you.
Yeah, on a channel that I barely use. It's my alt channel. Although I do Discord, I do it on this channel. So
I think that there's a I think I get tired of being like, oh, let's be charitable, let's be charitable, when like, oh well, maybe we should listen to what we have to meet people at their, and that's what Ray was saying, like, well, if they're using that, why don't we just use their argumentation or their words? And it's like, well, why doesn't anybody ever use ours? Why is it always
that's a good point. Yeah, I'll work with their framework. I'm like, okay, so you don't believe, let's talk about that. But they won't ever say, okay, let's work within Steve's paradigm.
Yeah, it's only ever one way. They will never work with us, but we're expected to work with them all of the time.
Selfish bastards. They're selfish bastards. Yeah, well, they just say by fiat, Steve's definition is wrong. It's like, well, it's not mine anyways.
Well, look at Steve going out of his way to fucking do shit using our framework. What a fucking asshole.
I know. I really am. I'm a bad man. But I like puppies, so.
Yeah, but then think about it online. Think about how many atheists will say, well, atheists get to decide what atheism is, not you. And I'll go, okay, I'm an atheist and this is how I use atheism. And then I go, well, you're wrong. Right.
Yeah, how are you using atheism, Steve? Here, well, you're wrong. Then why'd you ask me how I use it? And by the way, to say it's wrong. Hey, Tom. Hey, what's up? How are you been?
I've been just peachy.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Well, no, I haven't, but that's besides the point. I came on because I heard something very interesting.
Which is?
Something about hard determinism and how we're all NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we're all NPCs and we figured it out that we are in that hard determinism is true, do we not break out of that by?
No, because it's already determined. We were determined to break out of it. We were determined to know that we're NPCs.
So then hard determinism can't be true. Because if you were determined to break out of it already, that breaks the system, doesn't it? It makes
No, because you already determined that. If hard determinism, and again, I think there might be a distinction to be made between hard determinism and fatalism, but let's go with it. If that is the case, then whatever it is, it's meant to be anyways. You have no choice. It's pure physicalism. There's nothing of any choice or mental things whatsoever. It's all physical, and it's all based upon causal relationships. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think everybody always looks at determinism the wrong way, because because at its core, reality, reality follows quantum rules, right? And as we know, those rules are random as fuck, right? So in a universe governed by the laws of physics, you can still have free will. It's just,
are they random, or do we just not understand?
Yeah, I don't think there's free will. I think we have will. I think we have the ability to choose, but it's never to the point where it's you can't have choice without some kind of influence, right? It's never a case where we don't have external, internal, pressures on why we have a choice. Yeah.
Well,
I agree that there's no non-causal free will.
Well, yeah,
I'd say that there are certain causes but you still have that choice. So I would say you have a certain amount of free will. So what you would call their will, Steve, I'd say you do have free will, but there's limitations.
Yeah, but I'm not going to disagree with that. But it's not the same as libertarian free will. Libertarian.
No. So libertarian is a form of non-causal free
exactly. Will. Yeah, exactly. It's non-causal and it's indeterminate.
So I'm not laughing at the argument. I'm just.
Yeah, but people get those confused, though, right? When you say free will, they kind of think libertarian free will. That's not the same thing.
I know.
Although I use free will. When I say free will, I do mean libertarian free will.
Well, Steve, like, I want to address something that Cheshire said. Well, is it random? Do we just not understand it? Well, from what we can see, the laws, the quantum rules are random, but that's
well, it's a little more specific than that. It's not for example, well, I know what you're saying.
I'm using the word random, but I can't. You obviously know more than me when it comes to quantum mechanics, that and Leophilius, but whatever. But you know what I mean by random.
But it's this. It's not. It's stochastic, and it's not even stochastic. But stochastic means there's missing information. What it is this? There is nothing that we could ever possibly know because there is nothing to know about certain events. There's no information to be had anywhere, hidden or otherwise, to us. So when we say, well, why does this particle undergo spontaneous fission, right? There's no hidden variable that exists locally. And this is provable. This is proven by quantum mechanics. This is something that actually can be proven by mathematics, that it is not possible to have local hidden variables. And so therefore, the only way to interpret that is that there is nothing to be had as to why something occurs. It's not that we're unaware of it. There's nothing to be aware of. And that's something that a lot of people have a hard time, picturing in their head,
Yeah, but my point, like my point was with that, you can still have hard determinism and have free will, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, the entire everything in the macro, in the macroverse, it's going by the laws of the. You get the point, right?
Yeah, I understand.
We're all quantum systems, just because we don't see the effects at the macro scale. You know what I mean? Planck's constant. If it was higher or lower, you'd see the difference, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's supervenience there, it's called. And yeah, I mean, whenever like for example, in Schrodinger's cat, when you look inside the box, you become entangled in that system. You become part of that wave function.
Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting enough. The Schrodinger thought experiment was, it was just a way. It wasn't a real experiment. It was just like, fuck you to Schrodinger.
Well, no, he came up with it, but he wanted to mock it. I mean, he basically was like,
it was mocking. It was mocking it.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
behold a man.
Behold what? I'm confused now.
Diogenes, don't worry about it.
Diogenesia.
Oh, right. Yeah, Diogenes.
So real quick, I don't know what it is, but I guess Joe, that chick Jennifer doesn't seem to think that you and I have any academic citations. It's like, how dishonest can you be at that point? How dishonest can you possibly be?
That was the thing that
very dishonest.
To get That was the thing I was starting to get frustrated with Ray with a little bit, because he would be like, no, you can't say what is or is not dishonest because they might believe that. I don't give a shit if they believe it, if it's just factually wrong. If you have a fact in your face and you choose to deny the fact in your face, you're being dishonest. Now, you might not be you might be lying to other people, but you also might be lying to yourself. That's fine. Either way, it's still dishonest.
If they believe it, then they're not being dishonest, right? Doesn't dishonesty?
No, they are being dishonest, even if they do believe it, because they're purposefully denying something that is a fact that is in their face. Now they're either being dishonest to themselves and utilizing that dishonesty, or that dishonesty is spreading to what they're telling other people, but it's still dishonest.
Absolutely. Yeah, and she's saying, well, I pointed out the flaws in Steve's argument. No, you didn't. That's an outright lie. I mean, it's not even a matter of interpretation. It's an outright lie. That never happened.
And this is why I start getting like, when people are like, well, just because somebody believes something means that they can't be lying if they honestly believe it. No, they can be fucking lying. They're just lying to themselves and then lying about what they believe.
And by the way, we literally had a whole episode on lying and different types of lying on Caffeine Corner. If you want to go check it out, we did a very good job on it, I thought.
People will, like, the placebo is a thing. You can trick your brain into thinking all kinds of different things. If you sit there and think about it hard enough or long enough, you can trick your brain into all sorts of nonsense if you really, really want to. And you'll even know you're doing it. You can go out and set out to do this to yourself. And so, like, it's still you're just lying to yourself until you believe something.
It's
Okay, well then my question to that, hold on, I need to ask you something. Well then my question to that be, how can you know you're being honest to yourself? If
by utilizing the other people around you and what's going on around you.
Okay, next question. How do you know they're being honest to you?
Well, now you're just getting into solipsism, and you never go.
No. I'm getting into gaslighting. There's a difference.
Oh, he has learned. The student has become the master.
that would work and apply if you either have a group of people working against you for some reason, or if you're only dealing with one person. You don't have to utilize just other people. You can utilize, and there are checks and balances you can utilize.
No, I know. My thing. No,
that's funny.
But I know. But my thing has always been like, okay, group pace is this,
That's
group
hilarious.
pace is that. Who the fuck to believe? All right, I'm like, I'm left here confused as hell.
So this person.
The best way is by independently verifiable facts, things that can be verified independently. You don't need somebody to tell it to you. You can identify it and verify it for yourself.
So this person here, Jennifer, says, if you're referring to Steve's weak atheism equals agnosticism equals weak theism argument, I've already discussed this with Steve quite a bit yesterday. No, she didn't. I pointed out numerous flaws in that argument. Please read it. I'm like, wait, what? No.
I really enjoy that this person tries to sound like they're not being a complete fucking douchebag, but they're a complete fucking douchebag. If you just actually look at the other stuff they're tweeting, they're like, oh, well, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. And then over here, they're like, Steve's a fucking fraud. Fuck that guy.
I responded. I said no. I said no flaws we're pointing out. Dr. Oppy has the exact same conclusion as I have. This person is what is called suffering from Dunning-Kruger, and I quote. And then we shall have it that agnostics are both weak atheist and weak theist. Dr. Oppy. She can't even explain the argument, and that's the funniest part. She can't even explain the argument. Ask her. She has no clue what the argument is.
I still want to say something about. Never mind. I won't say it on air.
Oh God, these people, they drive me. The dumbness. It burns. It burns.
I mean, Steve, I've been dealing with a bunch of shit this past year also, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, but did you finally dump all the fucking shit people around you?
I've been trying to, trust me, but they still get on my case.
No, well, do what I do too. I literally block them and just ignore them.
Yeah, well, I literally do that.
But they find you? Are they stalking you now?
I mean, I don't want to put it that way, but I need to confirm nor deny that.
That may or
Because,
may not be the case. I'm not
You know,
sure.
because many people watch you like a hawk.
They do. Dude, it's weird. It's bizarre what a fixation some people have with me.
Tell me about it.
Creepy.
It is creepy. It's freaking downright psychotic.
But then they will project onto you.
Do you know what I do with people that I don't like? I don't listen to their shit. I don't watch their videos at all.
I
don't know.
I honestly wish I had your level of not giving a fuck about those people.
It's well honed after many years, man. Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time, yeah.
You need to get a Cheshire.
Yeah,
That's what you
time.
need. You get a Cheshire and it helps.
It's true. Get yourself a goblin.
I mean, I wish I could talk more off air, but I don't have to wait.
Yeah, well, we'll take this offline here in a few. I just want to get this argument out. It's already been 2 hours, but like I said, I'll jump into Discord more often if I can, and we'll just sit there and shoot the shit live and not live.
Yeah, I figured I decided to join. Like, I ran across the stream and I was listening for a little bit, and then on and off, and then I came in hearing hard determinism, not solipsism. Fuck you, Shesh. You mentioned solipsism before. You little fucking goblin.
There's something called like when you kind of put ideas in people's heads and they kind of it's planting. It's just
Yeah, fuck you.
And let it go.
You guys ready to call today?
Yes.
I'm all up.
All right, thanks guys for watching this. I appreciate you guys giving it a shot to try to, assail this argument. Please do me a favor, share it everywhere, let people know it, run it wherever you can, and get me the feedback on it as far as the experts and the lay people and the people that think it's wrong. I would love their critique of it if it's fair and honest. Also share the new show that Cheshire and I are doing tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I know people have wanted to do it on a different time. We tried different times. It doesn't work. The only other thing I can think of is maybe doing it on Sundays, but I like the time slot. It's where it's at. I think Cheshire does too. And, I know more people are off, Sundays, but look, we're here Sunday and we have, less than normal people watching. So I don't think it makes a difference. We'll do it on Monday. But yeah, if you guys can get the link out for that, go to my channel, Steve McRae. There you go, and help spread the word for that. But anyways, I'm taking this off air, guys. So peace.
Have yourself a good one. Cheers for having us on.
Cheers.